This podcast is brought to you by the following
Why don't you go like
sponsors.
this and have lightning come from your hands? Yeah.
I'll just do this.
Effects.
Finishers MMA is located at 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA, Lehigh Valley's home for 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. The amount of people that they have over there instructing is insane. They have J.M. Holland, John Thor Blanks opening up 10th Planet Allentown, Zach Meslaney, Grace Gundrum. It is elite teaching over there. They teach self-defense, no-gi jiu-jitsu, and kickboxing. They have a kids martial arts program that is building and growing, and Grace is teaching every single kids class. Get over there. They are the biggest killers in the game. That's 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA. Do you have anything to interject?
You didn't let me talk. I don't know.
No, I would like trying to get quicker on that. But they have multiple schools, and it's www.finishersmma.com. That has their schedule on there, and it has when they rotate everything. And they have evening classes because if you work and you can't get there, they even have, I think, an 8 o'clock class on Wednesday.
The thing I like the best is that they treat people with respect. It's not like one of those weird places you go and they talk down to you and, you know, like I'm a big bad sensei kind of crap.
No, not at all.
They're super cool guys. Everybody that goes there is nice. Everybody's friendly. It's just a wonderful place to go and learn jiu-jitsu. Wonderful place to go learn choke people.
Yeah.
Just go choke some people.
Every time I've been over there, and I get a little intimidated sometimes going into classes like that, even like going to the gym or like the Y, I get a little uncomfortable, and they make you feel at home there. Super professional. The guys have been doing it for a while. Zach, JM, and Thor all have their black belts. So
and they have crazy top-notch equipment. Everything is awesome. It's not some...
Yep. Every now and then they do
awesome. It's an awesome place.
Seminars and stuff there too. So check it out. It's finishersmma.com, and they are located at 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA. Their social media is everywhere, so you can go find them. And thank you guys for being a sponsor. Taylor Edge Wood Company. Drew Hoagland. They make handmade and local crafting and bringing you gorgeous custom wood design. If you're looking for a custom table, nightstand, countertop, and more, they can help you. Drew made this table and that desk. A lot of people always have asked us who did this, and it was Taylor Edge Wood Company. Their social media you can find is Taylor Edge Wood Co. on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram has a lot of the pictures and stuff. That's the best place to follow them. They just got the website up. It should be running by the time this airs, but that's tayloredgewoodco.com, and he's going to have cutting boards on there. Their T-shirts are really cool. I know they're doing fall shirts for that, and he's just a stand-up guy. He's done nothing but help the show since day one and has really ultimate crafting.
Yeah, if you're looking to get something different for your home and you don't want to have the same boring home with the same boring box store, stupid tables that are particle board that are wrapped in crappy vinyl stuff, check him out. He'll come and give you an estimate, let you pick out whatever you want. He's a crazy nut for black walnut, and he loves the stuff, the smell
He's
of it.
Obsessed with
crazy.
it.
It's a little awkward, but he's very very talented. And like I said, if you want something custom and nothing says that you're cool, then I have a damn custom table and you don't.
Yeah, and you get professional quotes, and he's also got that he's going to be having that on the website where you'll be able to get quotes off of there. So if you're looking for top-notch,
locally sourced,
everything's out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, support local people.
Yeah, so hit them up. You can hit up tayloredgewoodco@gmail.com for any inquiries on what you need. Instagram's a good way to get a hold of him, and he runs it with his wife, so they're super local to us, and they helped us out since the beginning. So please go check them out, and thank you for being a sponsor.
All right, our next sponsor is All Valley Rooter and Plumbing.
Jared LaBarba. I've been friends with Jared for almost my entire life, and he came down to the studio looking to sponsor, and we had a long conversation, and he wanted help building in the Nazareth area. He has a lot of work in the Lehigh Valley, but he specifically wanted to get into Nazareth, and we have a really big reach in Nazareth. It's not a big place, but we do have bigger reach than anyone else here.
We control the whole
We
town.
own Nazareth. But Jared went through his whole story and told me everything he's doing, and his plumbing is top notch. Yes. They do faucet repair, sub pump replacement, sink installation, pipe installation, leaks, toilet repair, and more. They have 24-hour service, 365 days a year. They charge by the job, not the hour. All services come with a 1-year warranty and guarantee. He's going to be our plumber from now on if we have any problems with the sink and whatnot. Yeah. Having plumbing issues is probably one of the biggest headaches ever.
It's one of those things that if something goes bad with your plumbing, it's really bad. There is no minor plumbing issue. And it's good to have someone that's local that you can call, that you know, and say, hey, I really need your help, as opposed to some guy that he's going to spend, he's going to take 3 hours to get there and he's going to show up. He's going to overcharge you. It's just not worth it. Go with a local guy, super professional. He can do everything you really want. He lists a bunch of stuff there, but I'm pretty sure he can do pretty much everything involving plumbing. So I'm just going to call him for everything. So. Whatever.
Yeah, and you have 2 properties that you can use them for now, too, because you didn't have a good experience.
No, they were horrible.
I wish you would say who it was.
I really hate that.
His website is allvalleyrouter.net, and that is the place where you're going to find all of the information you need to get a hold of Jared if you have any plumbing issues, or if you're just trying to get quotes for stuff. But they are 365 days a year. They are open 24 hours, and we want to thank him for being one of our first sponsors on the show. It means a lot, and all you Nazareth peeps or anybody in the Lehigh Valley who wants a trusted, reliable, professional plumber, please contact Jared.
And our next sponsor is Rips Auto Detail. I love this guy. Go ahead.
One of my favorite guests on the show.
Cool. He's a really nice guy. He's a very good DJ also, by the way.
Yes, and he's super professional at his job. He's got over 15 years of experience. He is located at 630 North Nelson Street in Allentown, PA. He does paint correction, ceramic coating, interior, and pro auto detail. If you follow him on Rips Auto Detail on Instagram, it's insane what this guy actually does with a car.
I am recommending that you go to Popeyes, which is right up the street, and you put fingerprints all over your vehicle, and then you go there, and he will make it perfect again.
Yeah, he's got 15 years of experience. He's got a package for everyone. What he stressed on the show is that he doesn't just do super high-end vehicles. Yep. He can do anything from, if you just have a daily driver and you just like having a clean car, you can get that done, all the way up to getting a boat done.
Yeah, well, it's worth it because I had my SUV detailed last year, actually, just because, especially when you live around here with the salt and everything else, if you get a really good detail on it, it actually will keep your car looking better than dealing with all the salt, because you keep going for car washes and stuff. That's not good. So if you get a really good detail on it, it actually will help all that stuff. So it basically winterizes your thing. And plus, when it gets nice out, you just go there and get it, just touched up a little bit, get it, refreshed, and you have a car that doesn't look like you're a slob.
You can contact him directly on Instagram, and that's at Rips Auto Detail, or you can call him at 484-553-1366. If you really want to know what this guy does, check out our past podcast with him. It's got a boatload of information. I didn't know, I knew he was good at what he was doing, and he opened his own business and all that, but to hear the story of how he got to where he's at and the 15 years experience, he's a super pro. He's a really great guy. Just go check out his stuff at Rips Auto Detail on Instagram, Facebook, and his website is coming soon. So go check him out, and he's one of our first sponsors as well. And we couldn't do the show without all these people, so I want to thank everyone. And shout out to Rips Auto Detail, and give him a follow.
And he gives you a free bucket of chicken.
No, he does not.
He's from Popeyes, says he does. Put that in there.
He didn't even like Popeyes.
Rips, you need to give out free chicken. Thank you.
Check out what he's doing on social media, and we won't use that part. And then we'll end it with, this is a professional Class A operation. Check out the podcast we did with him.
Our next sponsor is Luke Delmeyer Custom Knives. If you've ever wanted a custom knife, say a chef knife, say a camp knife, say any kind of cool custom knives, I'm sure any of you guys have watched Forge and Fire or whatever, this guy actually does that. He makes wonderful, crazy knives. He's leaps and bounds above anybody you're going to have around here. He's a good dude. You can contact him and give him basic parameters of what you want to make for our custom knives. He does sell his own knives on his website.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different knives on the website and his Instagram as well.
Instagram, he puts it up a little bit, and he'll say, hey, man, I'm selling this. His website's lukedelmeyer.com. Yeah, I mean, he lists a bunch of stuff. Like I said, you can ask for the custom stuff. He's starting a new line, which you can talk about, of the chef knives.
Yeah, the chef knife that he brought over to the studio was incredible because he showed me the demo one that they started with that he made out of a leaf spring, which is insane. But then what he handed off to me, I immediately just wanted to start prepping and cutting onions.
You were trying to.
I was excited to cook, and that's what a chef knife should do. And if
you
you're
just kept telling him you wanted to use it to cut something.
I did. And if you're looking for a chef knife or any sort of custom knives that you would like in your life for whatever reason, this guy, the amount of work that he's putting behind it, the craftsmanship that's behind his actual craft with blacksmithing, the dude's extremely talented, extremely humble, and please go check out his social media, and it's Luke Delmeyer at Instagram. That's where you're going to get a lot of his knives. He's testing the knives.
But you forgot the coolest part.
What's that?
You want to make your own knife?
Yeah.
He's got classes.
Yeah. That's right.
He has his own classes. You can go there, look like an idiot, because that's what I'll probably look like when I do mine. But you can go there, and he offers classes and teaches you how to make a knife. And I think that's awesome because there is no one and nowhere in this area that does that.
No. And if you're looking for a custom knife of any range, whether it's something that you're just looking for hiking, or if you're looking for a chef knife, or you're just looking to collect something as a hobby, go check out his social media, check out his webpage, get in touch with him, and see which knife is right for you. And that's lukedelmeyer.com. And thank you for being a sponsor.
Send it to my Father's Day.
Never Again Radio, episode 27. I pulled that away with fucking not hitting this shit. Welcome back, Mia Moore. We were going over, I didn't realize how long it's actually been and the time frame because this is a dungeon down here.
Yes.
And I have no concept of time, weather.
This isn't why I thought I was down here. I didn't know there was a radio show. So now that we're here, I guess we could talk.
How long ago was that? Because I didn't realize he was one of the last people we did audio with.
I also haven't stopped drinking since whenever it was.
Wait, you mean just audio?
Yeah, because he didn't do full video with us. This is the first time he's doing video. Because he came down, he goes, dude, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The living room was here. None of this was set up. We didn't even have a fucking table.
I sat on the couch with the bear rug, coddling me.
Yeah.
And then there was just the coffee table and wires everywhere. But I totally thought that when we did those, they were video, and
how
they
long are we
weren't.
doing video? 6 months? 7 months?
I don't know. 27 episodes of video.
It's off to a good start, though.
Plus other ones.
Yeah.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, so what the fuck have you been doing?
Nothing, really. Just drinking.
Nothing. I just sit at home.
Well,
I usually hang out with my dog.
Well, you slowed down on conventions, correct? And then you put out Whiskey Business because that was in between there?
No, that was before.
So you had Whiskey Business out when you came on before?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Dude, it's been a fucking long time.
I know. Here it is. Let's do some product placement.
It is. Yeah.
What a fan. We read it before he came in.
That's me. And
he dies in it.
Spoiler alert. Even though it's been out since last July. And then I took a break September till now.
That's when you took the break from conventions?
Yes.
Did you enjoy the break from conventions?
I did. I fucking did.
That's a grind. A lot of people don't know the setup and traveling and booking, and
I forgot what my house looked like and stuff, and it was pretty cool.
Because when you hit the road,
all the rooms now.
When you hit the road, you would go for 3-4 months in a row.
Yeah. Because there's popular times like March through May is a big con season. You used to do con season, know what I'm talking about. There's good months, and then there's dead months, nobody fucking goes out on Christmas and shit,
Yeah.
So I do 15 weekends in a row, and then have a week off and do another 13 all over the world, and it was just fucking. It's awesome, but it's not.
It starts to suck
realistic.
Staying in a hotel room.
Yeah, that and just everything you do, you're gone. That's why it's been 2 years since I've seen you, because
So
I was working. Like Jesus Christ,
he's
give me a
politely
fucking break.
politely saying it's not our fault.
Yeah,
It's not our fault.
That's what he's getting at, I think. But
Listen, I don't do any booking, so you can blame him all you want.
yeah,
No, he was booked several times, but he was at conventions and couldn't make it. So.
yeah, that was just what I
Yeah,
said.
we called your phone
He's
and we're
like,
like,
I could see your social media. I know you're not away, Scott.
we're like, are you home? Oh, call us back when you get home.
Yeah,
we were calling your house
okay.
number. Yeah, we're calling your house number.
It's like, leave a message.
How long did it take to adjust to not being on the road? Was it like did you feel like you needed to be doing shit when you were just at home, or were you just glad to not be doing that?
It's not like I stopped working.
No, but I'm saying
So-
like there's that constant feel of like getting ready to leave, having all that shit booked. I'm sure that's a lot of pressure.
It was definitely like awesome to not fly every weekend.
Yeah.
I know people fly for their job all the time, but like it's a little more stressful. So like packing your shit, changing your inventory, changing your display every weekend, just literally like, because every con is different. So you want to have like catered to that crowd.
Yeah.
And planning for that was enough. Like, and I would come home between weekends and just be like, I don't want to fucking draw. Like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit.
Yeah.
I just want to sit, collect dust.
It's
I'm like,
tough when you come home the day after a con.
Yeah.
And you just like to unpack everything, and you're just like, I remember bringing all these T-shirts down here and just being like, I'm not touching any of this shit.
I'm not doing
Like,
inventory.
this ain't
I
getting
don't
put
wanna
away till
fucking-
Wednesday.
I don't want to look at my shit. I looked at it all weekend. But yeah, it was just a lot. It was too much.
And then what did you do? You started working on the book?
So, well, the book I was doing in between, which was harder. That's why the first book took me like 18 months put together. So that book, The Whiskey Business, so that was like a culmination of like shit that happened during those 18 months. And then like, well, people, you know, like when I do interviews and shit, people just want to know like the same questions most of the time. Like, how'd you get started? What keeps you going? Like, what do you do? Like, who's your inspiration? Blah, blah, blah. So that book was like my career.
Yeah.
So my new book is like almost a part 2, you could consider it, but
Yeah.
it's a little like different style. It's more just funny shit.
Yeah.
And like, well, there's like
Stories.
serious shit and then there's funny shit, but it's not like an interview anymore. It's just like me and you talking. So it's kind of like, that's how it's told.
Yeah.
It doesn't read like a novel or anything. It's just, I don't know. It's,
Conversational.
yeah, it's like an autobiography essentially, but it's not just about me. So
Is it about me?
a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Is Jesse in the book?
Yeah. No, there's no pictures.
I didn't give you clearance for that.
You're working on a lawsuit.
So you owe me big
Thanks
fucking
for that,
money.
Mike. Could you wait till I made the money first
Yeah. You owe
before
me
I get
big
sued?
fucking money, dude.
Yeah, God. But yeah, so it did well. So like not knowing like that before, like I did a book, but it was basically like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
That was basically just for like the fans. Like, so their pictures were in it, like details about conventions were in it. It was just like kind of like that was a picture book. So
Yeah.
I didn't really write much. So writing about yourself is fucking harder than you think. Like nobody really wants to, I guess, but like
And it would be hard to kind of peel back and start trying to remember shit because so much shit has
that too.
happened.
Yeah, and in full detail. And so you're just you're like writing and you're describing yourself and you're like, wow, like did that happen, or like did that really go that way, or just how did I fucking get here? And that's kind of where you start, like what led me to writing a book.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my idea to write a book. Like I do read a lot. I don't even read like comics or anything, but I read a lot, especially if there's like a movie. Like I like to read the book first.
Yeah.
So I can't say I ever like, I have no experience writing, no experience like any of it, or like detail, like how to publish, how to do shit. So essentially it's like starting.
How much of
new
a headache
career.
was all that shit? Like finding it to be published and then like figuring out the back end of
That's
it.
probably the most stressful, like getting it done. Like
Yeah.
the writing is easy, but once you start, like it comes more naturally.
Yeah.
But then,
Did you have to set aside specific time and be like, I should write 2 hours tonight, or did you kind of let it go as to like, all right, well, I got 3 hours in, then you kind of burned out on it?
it was just like come to me because I
Yeah.
didn't have like an exact theme other than like my career. So I'd just be driving and be like, that's funny. I should include that. And I'm like, well, I'm driving. So
Would you have to give yourself like audio notes and shit?
Yeah. Well, I wrote like everything on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it. I'm like, what the fuck did I write? Or it would be like 3 a.m. or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. So I had to piece it together again, what I was trying to say. And then that's where like my editor came in and made it flow better.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's weird. Like, cause even when you came down here, I was trying to piece back the timeline from when you were here last, and I was like, holy shit, like this happened, that happened, and then you start remembering. I'm like, then we got the tables, and then you forget the entire fucking process of what it took to just be where we're at. And I'm just like, yeah, all that happened. Like that's like, I guess like it's nuts. It's nuts. And that was just that was bringing back 2 years ago, let alone having to go back to like childhood. Like how far back in the story did you go? Did you put in there like high school shit or like just stories from different times?
So that book, the whiskey business book, I go back to when I was like 7, and that was when I decided I wanted to be an artist. So I told like that story, and then it just goes in like I went to school to be an art teacher, but then I was like, I fucking hate school.
You're like, I hate people.
This is not gonna work. Yeah, no, like no.
Yeah, I was gonna be an art teacher, but then I fucking hate kids.
And teaching, I fucking hate teaching. I was like, is there a way I could just do this with no kids?
But then I met my art teacher, and I fucking hate
Mr. Fogel.
I actually told a story in that book about I had the most obnoxious asshole teacher when I was in college, and I'm pretty sure he got fired during my semester. Like if you hung something up, like everybody like drew a project and then they'd critique it, he'd make you hang it on the wall, and if you hung it crooked, he'd fucking rip it down. Didn't care if it destroyed your whole thing.
How old were you? Like 10?
And and I was in college. So yeah, I was very smart. Children. So I was 11. No, but we had this like black and white. You just draw like bullshit. You have like nude models come in. You're like, oh, okay, this 60-year-old dude's balls. I have to.
Hell yeah!
This is really my career.
Let's try not to pitch a tent.
That was the hardest part. Just trying to stay
sexy time.
Yeah. No, you're just drawing shit, and they're like the one project we had. He's like, this is black and white. It's a black and white like still life or whatever. So they just set up like bowling pins and inanimate objects. Like draw this and like learn shadows and blah blah blah.
A bowl of fruit.
Yeah, doesn't fucking help you. And then so we did this, and we critiqued it, and he hung it up. And this girl decided to shade with yellow. And he's like, he just goes to all of them, and he's like, what the fuck is this?
Oh my God.
And he's like, we weren't allowed to write our name on it, so he wouldn't know. Like he couldn't.
Oh, I would fuck.
He
with
couldn't
him.
be biased based on the grades.
Yeah.
So she hangs it up, and he's like, who the fuck did this? And he's like, who used fucking yellow? And she's like, I did. And he's like, next time you think about doing this, fucking slit your wrist before you come into class.
Oh my God.
And the girl just starts crying, and she leaves, goes, reports him, then he got suspended.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, wow.
Could you imagine
what a learning experience.
If he did that now?
Yeah, this was years ago. So I'm like, this is what I'm paying for. Like this guy. But it was that teacher that I learned like my perfectionist like ways and like, you know, because I knew if I fucked up, I would get scolded or told to.
So you think you actually learned something from him?
That was probably the only teacher I actually learned from.
Yeah.
Like it's just like if you're an actor, you know, like you want to be the best actor, and if you don't give it your all, like you're not gonna make it. So like this guy pushed you because you were terrified to fail. So
very similar to Drumline.
I did not see that. Even though that I'm a drummer, I did not see that movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Nick Cannon thing. I don't know.
But that was always the thing, is like where the teacher was a fucking asshole, but he pushed the students, and then the end of the story is they ended up performing their
like
best.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
But I don't think there was any like, hey, you need to get some suicide in there. I don't think there was any of that.
No, I probably shouldn't even
movie.
say that. It's like he's probably fired.
I'm sure he is.
What's his name? What's his name?
What school was it? What was the girl's name?
Yeah.
No, dude, but it was just every day you went in there like dreading it.
Yeah.
You're like, Jesus
There was
Christ.
always teachers there was definitely teachers that I did not want to go to class. Like ones that would abruptly know that you weren't paying attention. Be like, why don't you read? And I'm like, oh, what?
Where are we?
Yeah. I'm
what
like,
page are we on?
And then it'd always be like the nice girl next to me, like Kate McCucci. It'd be like, oh, right here.
She did go to school here, didn't she?
Yeah.
She's the nicest person.
Yeah, she was like the type of people that would like help.
But she's a really nice person.
Like would help me. They knew I was drowning, and meanwhile I'm like, "What? Is there a fly in this room?" No attention span at all.
What?
Can we eat chalk?
I'm epileptic. Yeah, because I've been this whole time. Yeah, so like that, I go into that. So from being 7 years old, I'd be like, I want to be an artist. No idea what the fuck that meant when you're young.
Yeah.
Then you would like. So I did have a really good art teacher in high school, and that's kind of why I wanted to do it. So that's why I went to college for that. But then I got there and I got my degree, my associate's, and then I was in the process of getting my bachelor's. And they're like, you need an extra year of school for education classes. You need to take more math and science.
We want more of your money.
I was like, no,
stupid.
you need more money. Yeah. Like, fuck you. And I'm like, no. This is a waste of time and money, and then teachers don't even get paid that much. So I'm like, I'm just not feeling it, Not that teacher ruined that experience for me, but just the whole school as a whole. That system's like just.
I never enjoyed it. I went to NAC, and then that just turned into nothing because. When I was
a 4-year school now, isn't it? Yeah,
when I was at Notre Dame, they just pushed me through, and then when I graduated, they were like, none of that counted, and you have to retake college credited courses.
Also that, yeah.
So then I was like, well, I didn't know that. I'm pretty sure my parents weren't told that none of this shit counts. And then so they were like, basically it was 13th grade, and then by that time. I was just like, I remember I was like, I think I was 21 at the time. And then I was just like, I went hungover once and I'm like, I'm good on this. And I just left. It was too much. I'm like, I'm not fucking going here for fucking 5 years and then go to another college.
I have no debt from school.
Yeah.
Like I never did because I went to like a cheaper school. So it wasn't like crazy. And I knew I had to pay my own way. So I was like already like.
Yeah, I think
regardless of what I get in, I don't give a shit. I'm going to the cheapest one.
Right after I graduated and was going to NAC is right when that whole thing started coming around where kids that were younger were like, I don't know if I want all this debt and I don't know if I'm going to get a job.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where it didn't, if you went to college, it didn't matter.
No, but that was because that's what your
parents
told you.
I'm going to grab a beer, keep talking.
Your parents told you that as you graduate high school,
talk
you go
like
to college.
You're still here, but you're not.
Yeah, so tell us about yourself, Mike.
Yeah, let's learn more about Mike. So
don't.
So the book, I don't even know. I don't even remember what I wrote. That's the hardest part. Is like I wrote this book.
Well, there is whiskey in the title, so you can write it off. That you don't remember
because, this was like in the midst of my Impaired Illustration show starting as well. Like when I was working on that book, so I talk about that, and I was like, that's where the title's gonna be. Like. Bullshit.
I came on live on a couple of those.
Yeah, they were fun to watch.
That is still my favorite thing I do.
I threw out drawings and you didn't draw any of them.
No, here we go.
I will have you know.
Is this why I'm on here?
Yeah, I will have you know.
He wanted you to come all the way up here to threaten you. He does have a gun. We know that.
I saw. Just for the record, the gun stands up like the mop.
I sat all day today and I was like, who are the people that I told him when he was drunk that he should draw?
I don't remember.
I know. So I remembered. The latest one.
I love when he shoots your ideas down. Please go.
I'm still not going to draw it.
Come on.
So you know.
Was Pizza the Hut, which is the best thing ever. Everybody would buy that.
Did you do anything from Spaceballs?
Did you like actual drawings, or you meant on the? I thought you meant on the show.
No, I don't. On whatever you want to do. I think it'd be funny. I'd said Dynamo from Running Man.
Oh, see that?
Come on.
That's funny. Okay,
I'll
give you that one.
I couldn't think of it.
But have you done anything from Spaceballs?
I did Barf.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sort of recently.
Yeah.
Maybe around Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah, Dynamo would be great. Dude, that's fucking hilarious.
I do. I hit everything. So I do like video games, comic books, like Spaceballs, like classic cult movies, and like just TV shows and everything. So I try to hit whatever, but the Impaired show is different because that's obviously not
anything. It's just
like so. Do
you guys drink before you start? So then you're kind of warmed up.
Depends who's on.
Yeah. Have you had on people you didn't really know, and it was kind of weird getting drunk with a stranger?
Like, I think it's mostly your friends. The ones I saw.
Primarily, yeah. Because
I think it's easier because you have more shit to bullshit about. You know what I mean?
Unless it was like a con weekend, because we film those in the hotels.
That's right.
So that opens up a different audience that I can invite on.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, we're all in the hotel. You don't have to like get plastered and
Did you do it in the room or the lobby?
The room, because it's quiet. You hear so much shit.
Right.
And we're also just doing it on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And a phone, like so we can read the comments. That's the whole point of the show, is like
to do it live.
The audience participates. And so I wanted to do like a higher quality and like bigger production, but then it wouldn't have the same feel. Like it's the drawings are shitty. What we do is shitty. We get sloppy.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like a poor show.
And the other thing too is like, I don't think you can do, like you'd be able to do YouTube Live, because I don't think you can do Facebook Live other than off a phone. Like you can't do it on the mat
as soon as
or
you
the thing.
That sucks that they blocked that. You should be able to.
It does. And then
I'm sure it has anything to do with making money.
Somebody's
sure
like ringtone went off in the middle of it. It'd mute the fucking video.
Yep.
Or it's just a lot to consider. So
yeah, I don't know how well YouTube Live would be. Can you do that off a computer?
Yeah.
You can, but it's like I also needed the audience first, because I can't film live on YouTube and have two people.
No, we have this podcast. We don't need anybody listening to
Well,
us.
that's right. Well, that's why I'm on. Yeah.
We just do this and we talk to ourselves.
No, it's weird.
Fingers crossed, somebody listens.
When I started the group, the guy who helped me with the website was like, hey, you need to start doing lives. And then I was just like, I don't want to. And he goes, yeah, but when you do a live, everybody in your group is notified that you're on, so it brings eyes to what you're doing. But I'm not comfortable with live, because once I start seeing people I know, I have to look away, and then I'm like, and then I'm like, I gotta go.
it completely changes the way it's done.
It's weird. It's weird. And but what's funny is like I can do Insta stories, and they're usually one take things. There's not a lot of times I fuck it up unless something uploaded wrong, and then I'm like, I gotta do that again. But like doing it live it's very uncomfortable.
It is, dude. You're nervous, especially when you're drinking. You're like, I'm gonna slip up.
And
then your friends join, and then they say like something stupid, and you're like, fuck you, or like, you
guys care too much about what you say.
It's not that. It's you automatically feel uncomfortable.
I've said a lot of dumb shit on here.
Well, it's like you have your audience, and then you have your friends.
Yeah.
And both of them are playing together now.
Yeah.
So like nobody knows each other. No one's gonna get the inside jokes you guys have.
And when you put something out on like Insta Story or whatever, or Instagram even, it's up, and then there's no more interaction. So then their opinion and how they take it is there. There's no immediate like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
And then your friend's like, oh, you look stupid. I'm just like, what? They're like, what are you talking about? And then that draws your attention away from talking. And then now you're double thinking. And then you're like, And then you wonder, you know how those reporters fuck up.
Yeah. No, it's that's what makes it fun, but that's also what makes it challenging, because remember the one episode we did with the blood splatter? Did you watch that one?
Which one was it? Oh yeah, it was the no. But you did it for Halloween though, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I knew the episode. It was just I knew it was a specific.
But it's funny. He goes, the blood spatter one. You go, which one?
Well, the first year.
This is why I don't do live.
The first year there was two. We carved pumpkins the first one. And everyone's like, someone's getting stabbed. Like someone's gonna cut their finger off because you're drinking, carving pumpkins. And like just being like looking back, like, oh, like you're carving. But we did okay. Nobody died. That was funny. And then we did. It was like kind of like a Dexter type, like blood spatter.
Yeah.
So we played drinking games, and then the loser, we had like a shot glass full of fake blood, a syringe that you just like push, and then we had a pitcher. That was like the penalty. So we played a drinking game, and then we did almost like a rock paper scissors. Loser, and then the audience picked what they got done to them. So I had to we filmed that in my house. I'm like, nowhere could we fucking like pull this off in a hotel.
J steaks and subs. What do you got to put with it?
Like a school gym.
Yeah.
Where the floors are easily cleaned and shit. So, I fuck just like he does in the show. Like I put tarp all over the house.
Yeah.
I laid like the plastic. We bought like old clothes, so they were all white, so we'd see them, and then so like a lot of planning actually goes into something that seems so fucking stupid.
Yeah, this. Look where you're sitting.
Like, think about how much you plan ahead and set up, and you're like, it went well. Like, it worked out. Like, the audience reacted to that, or like it went over very well. And so by the end, we were just fucking covered. And I was like, you know what we should do? Because we're wasted. We should go to Wawa. I was like, we should go to Wawa. And so we got an Uber to Wawa.
Oh my God.
And the guy's like, what the fuck? We like covered in shit. Like, obviously it was Halloween. It was probably fake blood. Probably.
Yeah.
It is Philly.
Did it get all over his car?
But nobody's like, like put a towel down or something. I was like, oh, then we get into Wawa and they're like, what the fuck is happening? And then we walked around because I live by a train. So we were just walking around like covered. We're like, happy Halloween. It wasn't even Halloween. Everyone's like, what the fuck, dude?
Did you guys film any of that stuff?
On our phones, not live. We never like take it outside because you never know.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen. And then that's the other problem. You can't get rid of anything.
No.
Like, remember last time I was on here and I went on Facebook Live during the podcast? Shouldn't have done that, probably. But
that's the thing, is everybody gets a notification, and then if you post the video, then everybody gets alerted that video. And my buddy's like, it's super useful that way. Because I got in the group because
it is.
You were talking about how you started that group because it's impossible to get anyone to see it. I guess what it is now is 1% of your viewers see a post.
Yeah, the algorithms are fucking trash, dude. They're just... It's not even like, it's almost not worth having social media, but then you realize what it's done for you, and then you're like, okay, I'm still here.
Well,
like,
there's still connections with people. Like there are people who see my stuff all the time and they like it, and then I feel like they're the only one. There's like 6 people, and I'm just like, oh, cool.
Out of thousands that
I'm not one of them.
And then the only time anyone ever likes anything is if you mention somebody's dead or something horrible's going on.
Like if I'm with a celebrity, then it's like,
yeah.
Why couldn't that happen to when I posted my artwork? That's what I'm here for.
Sometimes I don't understand why people, but then maybe if because more people like it, then it goes out further. I don't know.
I read so much shit to like study it and like combat the algorithms. It's like if you have 5 likes or comments or interaction, then it looks like it's important.
Yeah.
Then it spreads to your newsfeed. I'm like, but why? Because remember, like
it all comes down to if it is something good. Most of the time, people are too chicken shit to comment or like you'd be the first one. Or
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't want
If it's something edgy, they are like, oh, I don't know about this, and they look at it, they might go, oh, that's amazing, but I'm not going to be the one to like it because then my friends will see I liked it.
I liked it. Yeah,
Fuck that. I don't care.
Because I'll even see Instagram hides the likes now, which whatever, and
like,
then
what is that going to do?
Nothing. I guess they were getting away from like people being depressed or something.
No, that's their way of not letting you capitalize on.
But you can. It shows you on your back end.
Yeah,
so
but I'm saying is
still tell.
But that's just a generally. So you don't know what's working. So you can't capitalize.
Do you think people aren't like?
No, but you can't. All you have to do is click
and
next
then
to the
scroll.
heart.
You're like, wow, that's a lot of likes. Like you don't have to count it.
But if you click next to the heart, it comes up and it tells you your amount of likes and how many people viewed it. Like you can still see it,
your own,
so you can still monetize off of it. But there's something with like they don't want people to see
some of my accounts because I have like 4 Instagrams. They didn't do that too. So I think it was just something they're testing, and it's not like rolled out everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I know, but it didn't affect anything. Everyone still is doing the exact same thing they did before.
Yeah, I know.
You just don't see, 1 million. But it's like, I don't know. I never liked anything more because there was more numbers on it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it.
I guess that's for younger kids, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like an insecurity thing. So people are like, I just put all this effort to make this photo and it has 4 likes.
Yeah, that feels terrible.
I don't want people to know that it only has 4 likes. Yeah. Even though you can still click on it and be like, wow.
Hey, you could just go on like Fiverr or something and pay for likes and listens.
Well, that's
like
all they fucking want you to do.
There's a podcast, a local one that does that.
That's all it is.
Like they're a local podcast in Bethlehem. They do that a lot. They pay for a listen.
The business pages on Facebook are fucking garbage, dude.
They don't want you.
Yeah. I had like 17,000 years ago, and I post, it's like seen by 48. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It used to be like 6,000.
Yeah, they make you pay now.
And I'm like, yeah.
And boosting does nothing.
No,
so you have to pay for like Facebook marketing.
If you pay for a lot of money, then all of a sudden you get those boner pill things, they seem to be on fucking everywhere.
Yeah, do you ever wonder why like all those ads are in your timeline and your newsfeed? It's like, why is this ad for Viagra in my fucking news?
No, I had like 4 of them, and I was like, why do they keep sending me all this shit? Like, what did I click on that all of a sudden?
What you said.
Yeah, probably.
They heard you in the pharmacy. They were like, oh shit.
No.
They know that you bought boner
Order
pills.
online indiscretion.
I would never go to the pharmacy. I buy them off the street from.
Oh my god! Do you have a dealer for boner pills?
I don't have boner pills.
I have no clue what we were talking about.
I'm not here to out you.
Everything.
The drink and draw.
Yeah, so the show is
Impaired
like fun,
illustrations,
and it's
sorry.
like it's hard to get people on though, just because what it is,
Yeah.
and like where you do it, and then like everybody.
I saw it and I immediately hit him up and I was like, we should definitely do that.
But it's like, you know, like you said, you bring on people you don't know or do you whatever. It's like, well, if it's at my house, then probably not. And then
Yeah.
they have to
they like rob you.
they have to get home afterwards. Is the
That'd be
other-
hilarious.
Yeah.
You bring a guy on the whole show. You're talking to him.
Yeah, it's like-
you guys are getting all loopy, and you just see him in the background taking your shit.
It's like, we have you on
and
film.
he's typing, "Your friend is taking your shit."
Yeah, everyone's commenting like, dude.
I try and meet up with the person or at least get on the phone with them. Because if you don't do that, then you're just meeting a stranger.
I'm empty.
Another one?
I want that.
Labatt's, there was
Yeah.
only one.
Fuck.
No, you're a liar. Isn't there more? Isn't there?
There might be. I don't think so, though, because no one brought any beer to the last fight.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Tim just brought Proper 12.
Fuck. So yeah, so okay, then that book, the whiskey business book, I was like during when the show was coming out and my other projects and all that shit. So I was like, it'd be easier to answer. It's like the book's kind of like a big interview,
Yeah.
essentially, and the next book's just funnier. So
This or nothing.
that's fine.
All right.
But yeah, you have to open it. This book is a lot more fun because now I wrote one and I saw what I can get away with.
Yeah.
Because the scariest thing is like I just spent 18 months doing something, and if it's gonna flop or everyone's gonna fucking like hate me afterwards, that sucks. You know, so writing a book is like totally different. You're like opening up everything because you know, everybody's. Thank you, sir. Everybody's like a personality online, whether you like try to be or not. Like that's who they know you as.
Yeah.
So like you're Mike from Never Again because you present yourself that way, you know, and it might be exactly who you are, or it might not even be fucking close to
Yeah.
who you are. So when you're writing a book, it's like everyone's gonna know because I'm literally writing this and I can't fake it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Like-
telling them. I mean, you could lie in it, but why? What's the point of
You
doing
can
that?
embellish, but you can't. No, like some of the shit that I talk about in the new one was like the Maury episode, which was
Which we watched when you got
I
down here.
just brought the DVD over, and yes, Mike did get to see it.
You have to watch it after
Tell
the
him
show.
how impressed you were.
One, I like the quality. I love. Well, I mean, there was no other way for you to do it. It was on
No.
a DVR.
Yeah, so my friend still had it. It was filmed in 2011, and like I filmed it, and then it didn't air for like a month because that's just how like
Yeah.
shows
They
go.
pick one of this.
Yeah, then they like edited so much of it out because they didn't like what I said all the time. And then he had it on his DVR. So I remember like coming to work with my old job. This is just like almost 10 years ago. We had like a watch party when it aired because we like they told me when it was going to air, but
Yeah.
but you didn't get like a copy of it. I was like, do we get like a fucking VHS or something? Not that anyone even 10 years ago had a VHS player, but I was like, I want something of this because I didn't have something to record it at home, like off live TV. So my friend had it on his DVR still. I was like, how do we get that off? And then we contacted everyone, and because like you can't just burn it. Like people would record shows and like probably
Yeah.
fucking sell
And you
them.
can't really hook up the DVR to a recording device.
No, and well, I didn't know anything about it because I don't have one, and I was like, let's just film it, like set up a camera and just film it. And so we got it, and then we got the video, and then my other friend broke it down and like cut out all the shit and just made like one big clip, and that's what you saw.
Yeah, no, the clip. But that's what's good about it is all the bullshit's out of it. So it's just
Yeah.
you just get the highlights of what you would have watched. There's no downtime. There's no Maury. It's not a 45-minute fucking thing. It's like it just gives it to you.
Even well, when it aired, I was first, so that was like the fucking craziest shit. So I'm not going to say everything about this show because one of the chapters is about that. So you're supposed to read the chapter, me telling the entire story of the happening, and then watch it because it'll be funnier. Like if you know every detail. But wait, what the fuck? No, I said something and then I didn't want to say it. I don't remember what I was saying.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Well, I've said on multiple podcasts, I love the Maury Show. because he helped me find a guy that I was looking for at one time.
Me?
No, there was a guy that was missing.
Oh, I thought this was a love story.
Wait, this is a true story.
No, true story. So I said it in a
fuck.
couple podcasts, right? There was a guy that I was looking for that took off, that jumped bail. And we went all the way to fuck down to Florida because that's where last we knew he was there.
Yeah.
And we talked to some fucking
Jesus.
blood member. That was wonderful because I clearly look like a gang member.
I think.
So anyway, he
You
was
do look like you're in Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah, I
bro,
know.
and that's a gang.
so that
more
guy.
good old
That's not a gang.
PI workers.
That's a motorcycle club. Go fuck yourself. So
Oh my God, language. Language. This is
So-
Instagram.
So no, this guy kept joking. Like this girl came out and started talking to us, and then the guy said he comes out and he just goes, "Who are you guys looking for?" And we told him the name, and I showed him a picture, and he just started calling them like all these weird like nicknames, and I go, "Okay, I don't know any of these." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That fucking fool. The last time I saw him, he was on fucking Maury." And then he walked away, and I was like, "Oh, maybe he means like he's a clown or something."
Yeah.
And he comes back in, he's like, "Yo," and he comes back out like 10 minutes later. He goes, "Yo, man, did you see that fucking fool? I think he's wearing the same belt that he wore on that fucking Maury show." And I said, "You're being serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, he was on Maury Povich." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Something to do with like this girl. He was the daddy, and his mom wrote a book, so they like let her push the book." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So I called the Maury Povich show and told him,
Dude.
like, "Listen," I said, "I need to speak to your legal department."
Legal department.
I said, "I need to ask about a guy. I can give you his name, his birthday. I can give you everything about him. There's a warrant for his arrest, and I have a bail piece that I can pick him up. I want to know where you picked him up at and where you dropped him off because I need to know where this guy is or if you have an updated thing." And
Yeah.
sure enough, legal department's like, "Send what you have, and we'll look at it." And I was like, well, that's going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 hours later, they fucking called back.
Dude.
And some lady, she's like, "Hi, this is, I don't know, fucking, from the Maury Povich show." And I go, "Hey." And she goes, "Listen, we can, I can give the address. We picked him up and we brought him back because it was the same place." She goes, "We picked him up in New York, in Queens." And I go, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, here's the address." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you guys are fucking amazing." So then I started back checking. It ended up being like one of his distant fucking relatives. So I called the relative and they're like, "Oh yeah, he'll be home later. I'll put him on the phone."
So will I.
Yeah, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, yeah." So he told that
Get the
fucking.
tea
They helped
ready.
me.
Come on, Beth.
Yeah, I was
let's
about
get
to say,
him.
if she
Take
told
him
me-
down.
Well, so they were so. I guess the person that I was on with applied for the show, and then they called me to invite me on, and they were so fucking persistent about getting me on there. I was like, "Holy shit! Like, what did I do?"
Yeah.
Like,
So
my-
they didn't even tell you like.
they give you like well, the whole point, which I don't want to ruin why
Okay,
I was on.
So they're pushing the premise the whole time.
Yes, but without saying much.
Yes.
Because you're supposed to be like totally fucking in the dark.
Now, do they get you all gooned up like they do Jerry Springer show?
What do you mean?
Jerry Springer show.
Did you do
I knew-
cocaine?
Oh yeah.
No, I
Before I knew what was going on.
That's the name of the new book,
I talked
Cocaine
about
Business.
I talked about a couple shows ago. I knew a guy that went on there, him and his friend, and what they do is it's basically a fucking party for like 3 hours before the show. They feed you fucking shots and booze, and everybody drinks together,
Definitely.
and they get you
not.
fucked up before you go on the air because people get so nervous.
It is very like I don't get embarrassed. I don't really get nervous.
That was the first thing out of my mouth when I saw the tape. I go, "You're really good on camera." Like he looked very calm,
It's
very
so
collected.
natural. Like
Look at
I was
you.
guilty
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know why you're there, but I kind of did. I didn't know everything, and then they give me because like I wasn't the one that.
And I think you were like booed when you came out. Like,
Yeah, so you get out there and it's like
boo.
the lights like applause or
Yeah.
boo, and so
Oh,
you're,
really? That's not a
it
joke?
lights up when the audience is supposed to react.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of funny, but then there's like 14 cameramen on the bottom of the stage, like you don't see on TV.
Yeah.
And then they're like, look here, and like Maury's reading one monitor, sitting in the chair opposite me. The guest is reading a different one, and then everyone's like snapping at me. Like they told me like nothing before I came out on stage, and it was so fucking weird because the audience was on stage with me. I was like, we're kind of like, it's like what do you call it? Like Jesus Christ.
In a round?
intervention. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Being around, like,
And
everybody surrounding you. I thought you meant that. Okay.
No, I was like, I never saw. I used to watch the show all the time in like school, like high school and shit, and like I never saw the audience on stage. So I come out there, there's like a space this big between us, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, oh God, that's what I'm saying.
You saw it, like what it looks like.
It's gotta feel so.
You don't know any of that.
Violating.
And you know how they're like, oh, you're backstage, like he's backstage, like waiting, blah blah blah. I wasn't. Like you're downstairs, and like it's filmed in the same thing as Springer and like Steve Wilkos and shit. So I was like walking around. They're like, we need you in like 2 minutes. I'm like, what? And so I didn't know like the other segment was filmed, and then like I got there and I had to film a segment the night before, so it wasn't. They make it like all look live, and it's not. And they're like, here's what we're gonna ask, and here's the responses you can pick from. I'm like, these are stupid. I would never fucking say that. And I just kind of like placated the idea of all those answers, and then when I got on stage, that's kind of like what's cut out, because I didn't like give the reaction they wanted all the time. So that's why my segments from like 15 minutes to like 8 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, they do that with the Real World too. Like I remember a lot of the cast members started being like, this didn't happen. Like this was completely edited.
I wasn't even in that house.
Well, they wanted them. Everybody has a personality, and they want you
of
to be that person.
Of course, it wouldn't be good TV if they just let them be themselves.
I went on the not as a person, as an audience member, on the Judge Mills Lane show.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
When I was in New York, because I walked by and they were like, "Hey, do you want to be on it? You want to be in the audience TV show?" And I go, "Yeah." And I walked in, they're like, "It's Judge Mills Lane." I was like, "Yeah, that's the guy that was like in the ring when Tyson bit that dude's ear off." And I go, "Yeah, that's awesome." It's literally,
he was on Celebrity Deathmatch.
dude.
That's right. Wasn't he a ref?
It's literally half the size of this room, and it's like stadium seating, and they're all like right there, like you can almost touch the guy. And I go, "This looks so much bigger on TV. Like this is a joke."
That's how everything is. Like but
it's so weird. But they don't even like. They'll just talk and they'll be like, "All right, guys, we're going to be filming." And because you're just sitting there,
how did
like,
you have that
on?
much time to kill? Like we just had a day open, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come in?" And you're like,
"Yeah."
Sure.
When I live in New York, our classes were at I think they started at like 7.
Yeah.
And we were done by like 3. Something.
Yeah.
So you just whatever. If I recorded in the morning, I was done by 12.
That's how you end up in strip clubs.
Not New York.
So
I did.
Yeah, like
and I realized that the lap dances around here are $1, and they're $20 in New York, and that's all I had. And the girl was like, "Okay," and I'm like, "That's all I got." And I looked at Kevin, and the girl's going, "I gave you 2 lap dances," and he looks at me and he's like, "Let's go." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't need more money.
I
Can
only
we go
heard
home?"
one song.
It was, and then he stayed for 2, and then she's like, $40, and I'm used to like the Fox where it's like, "Can I have change
for the day?"
Yeah,
Fuck.
but yeah, they used to try and corral us in when we'd go, and I always dreaded it. And he'd be like, "Dude, let's go in." I don't have any money.
No, that's what's great about New York. I was in so much stuff just because there's always something going on. That's how I got on fucking MTV all those times. You just walk by and they're like, "Hey, we need you." Okay, I'll do it.
So, like, they invited me, and like I knew nothing. They picked me up in a limo.
Yeah,
I live 4 hours away. I was like, holy shit! Like, what do they do for everybody that comes on? Like, sometimes there's like 20 some guests a show. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
So you were by yourself in a limousine?
No, so no, I wasn't. Read the fucking book, Mike. No, I'm just kidding. So I get there, and I'm like, oh, I just got to check in the hotel, and then we start tomorrow. Like, I go there, and they're like, oh, we're filming in 30 minutes. And I was like, tonight? Like, 30 minutes from now? She's like, yeah, you got to do your preliminary and, like, your back behind the scenes shit. I'm like, I wasn't told that, or, like, I don't even know what the fuck you're going to ask me.
It's probably better to keep the guest not knowing.
Well, that was their, premise. But so I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's the only part that made it hard for me, because like, nothing.
Yeah.
And then they just throw you on stage the next morning. Because like I said, I was like,
strangers.
I was walking around. Yeah. And they're like, boo. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. No.
Yeah.
And you just go out there, and then you're like, what's he going to say? And it wasn't everything they said he was to me. And then so you have to like quick respond. And I guess mine weren't like good enough.
Yeah.
So,
or it's not the way they wanted the character.
Well, that's
to come
what it
off.
is. Like, they're like, just go out there and be excited. Like, everything you do just like over exaggerate.
Yeah.
Basically, they wanted you to fall flat on your face. They wanted you to come out and be excited, and then they were going to drop the hammer, and you'd go, oh.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's not how I work. Like, I don't care what I do. Like, I don't, like, I'll do whatever because it's funny. Like, that's all. The only reason I'm on here because it's fucking stupid and funny.
Yeah.
And you paid me. But it's like, you know.
How much did they pay anyway? Do you remember?
It's $500.
That's not bad.
Which isn't bad, but like, I was 23.
But that's like what they pay an extra.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty much. And then they pick you up in a limo. They pay for your hotel. They pay for your food. I was like 2 free days and $500. I don't give a shit.
No, I would definitely do that.
But when they called, I was like, oh, I'm like, when is this taking place? And they're like, Monday. I was like, it's Thursday.
Yeah, and then you got to take off of work.
You couldn't give me a notice. I was like, I can't get off work. I'm sorry. And then she called back like 7 times. She's like, we really want you to come on. I'm like, you should have called me a month ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it. I'll take a sick day. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, this doesn't happen. You know, this is something so bizarre. And like all my coworkers, because when they called, I put it on speaker and everyone was like, holy shit. Like, I thought it was a prank. Like, I thought it was a fucking joke. And I'm like, I gotta do this. And then my girlfriend at the time was like, you're not doing that. It's so stupid. Like, you look like an idiot. I was like, that's why I want to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. Like, everybody knows it's fake. But this episode, like, wasn't totally, like, the reason I was on was a true story, you know? But, like, my part was just so, like, scripted and stupid. And then I just strayed from that so far that...
Well, the other part is, and I won't get into it, but it's so over the top. And then now hearing that, the amount that they probably coached the other person was just like...
Dude, like, you saw.
Yeah. It's
like, that's what they
You can
wanted.
watch it after. We're over
it's only
this.
like,
Why did I watch this before the show?
Because we watched it, and then when you came in, I think we just started talking about playing Russian roulette.
Fuck. I don't think I played. At least we won.
Yeah, no. We'll save it for afterwards. It's crazy. I love the way it's set up. What's it called?
I sit like a child.
How he's got the music in the intro, and then he did whoever did your editing for you. It goes perfectly with what it is. Like it meshes very well. And then I like that it's like this CD, like phone copy of it. And then the only thing that's kind of wonky is the audio. But like I said, what were you supposed to do?
Dude,
like,
it wasn't going to be good regardless.
What would you hook the DVR up to? I don't know if you'd be able to figure that out, but you would have to record off of a DVR.
That's best for time.
Most of them have an out. You just take the audio out, and then you have to resync it up.
Well, where the fuck were you 2 weeks ago, Jesse?
or you just
God damn it.
Take the DVR, run it into a computer. There's programs that'll knock it out.
The audio and the video.
So the next book we're gonna
yeah.
I have to figure out how to get on another talk show. No, they asked me to come back like 2 or 3 times.
For what? Just other segments?
I don't know. Like so,
they wanted to do like more makeup.
Wait, were you the recurring scumbag that they want to be like,
boo?
Oh, remember this guy?
No,
and they flashback.
Yeah, I wonder if they do
God.
that.
So like,
they'll call guests back and then just create characters.
There was people that told me not to do it, and then there was everyone that was like, my friends just being like, "Oh my god!" Like
you should have just kept doing it. Take the money and then don't follow what they say.
Well, it was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, what would the next one be about? It wouldn't be about the same thing.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, it sounds ridiculous, but like my episode did so well. That's why they wanted me to come back, because they liked me. I was like, you cut half of what I fucking said.
Yeah.
It's like, so did you? And that was the first reason they coming back. They're like, we want to do like a sort of a follow-up, but not really. It's just more about you. I'm like,
was this after it aired already?
This was like a year later.
I was gonna say, because they did it like right away. They're probably trying to get more cuts at it.
Well, no, it was a while later, because I had like all their phone numbers and shit, so they would like text me and call me all the time, and then I wouldn't answer, so they started like adding me on Facebook and shit, and I was like, how the fuck? But it was just weird, and I should have done it. I should just went on like once a week and just fucking did it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of basically that dude, Jude
just
started out on...
Yeah, well, just reply, and I'll go. I'll go as you, and I'll go, I let shit go.
Yes, like
I let shit go.
I forget the show it was that he was on. But he came on and he was like a total dickhead. And then they started bringing him on as a segment. It was the Jenny Jones show. And then they started bringing him on as Rude Jude. And then he just had these like witty things where he'd rip people apart. But from that, he now has his own show on Sirius. And he's like wrote a couple books. But like that was kind of the boost he got to be put in on a platform of media.
So when I did it, I was like, that was fun. But it was just like, do I really want people to watch it? Or like, do I like, I did what I went there for. But like now, I swear to God, it aired every fucking week for like 5 years.
I'm sure that shit reran
and then
nonstop.
It's just like,
I forgot how many reruns there was
So
of that
it was-
horse shit.
yeah,
Because for
like
a
it
time, there was just nothing but daytime television on.
Remember,
was-
we used to leave. Was it middle school or high school to watch like Springer?
No.
That's
Yeah,
what you
that
did
was-
every
we used to watch
Yeah, it's
during
'cause
like
you guys
study
had
hall and shit, and we were just sitting in the
fucking-
auditorium.
Asbestos. That was the year I left.
It wasn't asbestos.
It was at
mold,
Nazareth.
Fungus.
Good excuse.
And then my brother would be like, we only have to do half days, and they're pretty much just passing everyone because there's sickness here. And I'm like, I'm over here wearing a goddamn uniform. I don't
was
have
a
any
coronavirus.
friends. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, they used to have these
Started.
Springer watching parties. They would go over to Tim's
Yeah.
parents' house, and they would just rip butts and watch Springer.
But it was on for like ever, and so it was before I started like this career.
Yeah.
And then the first like few years into it, people would like add me on Facebook, or like they'd meet me in like a different fucking state, and then they'd add me online, and they'd be like, "Did I just see you on fucking Maury?" And I'm like, "Perhaps."
It's
Like,
gotta
it has
be weird.
my name, and
Yeah.
I don't even look that much different 10 years later.
Well, if they Google your name, does it come up as an episode?
So what we did to find it, like we tried for years, like
Because you think it would have been on YouTube.
because it's so old, it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think they only go like 5 years or something. So we searched. My friend's like, I'm gonna look on the dark web. He's like, if it's online, I could find it, and he didn't. And so after all this shit for years and years, finally, like the one friend was just like, I have it on my DVR. I'm like, what the fuck?
Even looking for it for years.
Like all my friends, and I'm like, holy shit. So people are like, did I just watch it? I'm like, no, yes.
What are you going to do with it?
What do you mean?
The episode, are you going to put it on your social media or on Facebook or anything?
It's too big of a file to like post.
I can chop that up for you, bro.
Well, we have it chopped up, but that's why we got it to
Yeah.
a DVD.
Yeah.
No, it was just like promotion
Yeah.
for the. I like. That's why you got to get the book early, because I don't have that many copies either.
It's worth.
Why don't you just run it as multiple segments? Do one every week.
I was only on one time.
No. I mean, like one segment. Do 4 minutes or something. Or
No,
3 minutes.
I like
That's
what
a
he's
lot.
doing. I like that he's adding it in. And when I saw you were doing that, because you posted that you were going to do that, correct?
Yes.
And then
now I did. Yes.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then when I watched it, I was like, man, that's such a cool thing to add in a book, because I feel like people don't do shit like that anymore. But it's a cool thing to read that and then watch the DVD, because like I knew a little bit about the story before.
Right,
And then
yeah.
you talked about it when we got down here. And then when I played it, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Because it's like just the way the intro is, the music that plays, you press play, and he cut it up so well that it just gives you the meats and potatoes, and it's everything you would want out of it. Because
That's all you need, yeah,
cuts out all the
essentially.
bullshit. It's a good watch. It's only a couple minutes, but I was like, that's cool. That's cool that you would add that to the book. I think it's an awesome pre-order idea.
It's just, dude, you know, like the hardest thing, even like
How many are you going to do? Are you going to keep it super limited?
there's like 20. Not
20?
Not even. And I already like, I'm going to give some out. I'm going to keep one, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to like give some out. So it's probably be like 10 or 15.
Are they going to be the first people that pre-order, or are you just going to mix it up? Or do a special?
That was my like
You can
debate.
do what someone that just like, hey, it might come in your order.
Well,
just
see, I don't want to
random.
give it to someone that won't enjoy it.
That's true too.
So you kind of got to make it part of, like, they have to know they're getting it.
Yeah. I mean, you could just do it as an extra add-on.
Yeah, but it's not something like, I don't know. But that's the hardest part about being creative. Like, you got to do dumb, like what? Because I think about like, what haven't I done? So me and my friend Zach, there's a chapter about us in the book that's just like funny. So like, he was my childhood friend. He's still my friend, and he's like actually the one that pieced the video together. And So I tell about like our story, because in the first book, I talk about this accident where he pulled me by his car on my skateboard, and I just ate shit like so bad. I smeared my face. It ripped through like all my clothes. I was like missing hair in my fucking...
It's weird the first time you get introduced to pavement like that.
That was the worst time. I wouldn't say the first time, but it was fucking rough. And then I just like went to school the next day. My arm was like in a sling and all this shit. It was pretty fucking awful. And we have that on video.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, maybe what we should do, because I talk about like, we did jackass things before that was a thing.
Of course.
I was like, but we didn't do the extreme shit they like got into once they realized like you have to keep outdoing yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, is about like staying alive in this business and shit, is just reinventing the wheel all the time.
And now it's so hard because the timeline of when you have to do it is now. And the timeline of how long the video needs to be is 15 seconds. And it's like, what?
People,
there's no fucking window, and it's got to be the smallest thing ever.
A nanosecond. Yeah.
I had... When I was younger, my dad got a video camera. My Meemaw bought all.
I just wonder what people call their grandparents.
Meemaw, Nona. Like, what the fuck is that?
Like,
Southern. I went with Nanny and Pop Pop.
This is PA's real Southern.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never heard Meemaw or Peepaw till I went down to Virginia.
Well, he lives up north in the woods.
He lives a different.
I'm city folk down here.
I guess.
My coworker Billy in Virginia used the first time I ever heard Meemaw, and I go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, "My grandparents." And then ever since then, I thought it was so funny that people say Meemaw and Peepaw, is that I try and overuse it. Anyways, Meemaw.
Imagine a kid in the store like, "Hey, Peepaw."
Yeah.
You're like, "What the fuck?"
She bought my parents all the kids' video cameras at the time.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing. They were expensive, and my dad was like, "Don't our fucking touch it."
Like, ginormous.
Yeah.
Like, it was stupid
but
heavy.
We used to set it up, and I started doing all these home videos, and we used to do these talk shows, and I would talk my brother into coming on. He'd be like, "What are we going to talk about?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll just, say some things." And then he would get on, and I'd be like, "Oh, thanks for coming on the show because you're so fat, and that's why you're here." and he'd be like, "Oh," and then the tape would end. But we cut it all up. Not cut it up, but like, dude, I'm telling you.
You're an asshole.
I have not changed. And then there was like other stuff where I did stuff on my bike, and we did these stories where we did like...
That'd be a promo, by the way.
Dude, we did these stories where I did like stop motion animation with these like Halloween masks, and like it was things like we had costumes and everything, and we made all these things. And when I got older, I started showing them my friends when we get high and watch them, and everybody in the room would die. And it was just one VHS tape. I never made any more. And then the one girl on my bus was like, "Hey, we want to borrow the VHS tape and we want to watch the tape.
Yeah.
Can I borrow it?" And I let them borrow it. And then the girl got sent off to rehab, and her mom went through her room and threw out all of her shit. And when she threw out all of her shit, we lost the tape. And I like
one copy.
Dude, I tried for like 3 to 5 years, just constantly asking. No, like I would constantly be like, "Hey, can somebody get a hold of her?" But she was like going through all this shit, and her friends would be like, "No, man, like the tape's gone." And then eventually I just let it go. And like to this day, it still like bothers the shit out of me, because I'm like, man, I've been trying to do this since I was like fucking 10, and then dude, it was so much funny stuff. Well, I gotta find my other stuff, because there's stuff from family vacations where anytime my dad would start recording, like I remember I'd be like, "Let me tape," and then like I would be at Disney and I would just start taping stupid shit, and then like he would be like trying to get these like
girls' asses,
like like he would be trying to get like like these moments that, because back then you recorded it, and then my neighbors would come over, we're gonna watch your thing, and then like
movies.
The one where I remember the last time I watched it, they're shooting the pool, and we're all down by the pool, and I get out of the pool. I have no recollection of doing this. I have water in my mouth from the pool, and there's just some lady there, and I walk up and I spit it all over and run away. And like my brother caught it the one year when we were watching it, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
On someone's couch.
And then my dad would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get this shot. Go over here and like wave or something." So I'd walk towards it. I'd purposely fall into a garbage can and knock it over, and then he's just like, "Jesus Christ, Michael!" It was so much fun. But I always fucked around like that. But I lost all that footage, man. You're so lucky to have it.
The thing is, you laugh about it now, But if you were in his position now,
I would have beat him as much as he
you'd be
beat me.
Fucking pissed off.
He beat me. But what would happen is my mom would laugh, and I'd get my mom laughing, and then he would be like pissed.
It's like things that aren't funny then, but they're funny now.
Yeah.
That's kind of how most of this stuff was. Dude, we made fucking CDs.
Yeah.
Where we like overdubbed shit, and then we got the camera, and I was like, oh, this is like next level shit. So
isn't that crazy that now you just have them? You just have them in your phone.
And it's just, but it takes away like the whole fun of it. Like kids don't even play outside anymore. So we film literally all day. We still have like 3 more hours.
Oh, you're all right. It's probably like a little under an hour.
He puts it just to give it a ballpark so he knows where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we would just film everything. Like we'd get out of school, start filming. Didn't matter what it was. But so we had this like 6-hour DVD. Well, he made it a DVD later, and like he cut it down, and we still have that. And then when he was in college, he had to make like all these movies for school, like films. It wasn't film school, but he had like classes like that where you had to do projects. I was like, now we have the school's fucking shit, so this is like real good equipment.
Yeah.
I'm like, now we can do even dumber shit, and it's gonna look better. So we have that, and I was like, you know what? Maybe that'll be the next DVD I release, like all our shit that's funny.
You should,
like,
man.
Yeah,
let's see how this goes. And I was like, and then, so like what I was gonna do with Impaired Illustrations was make like a montage, like a whole fucking DVD of just the highlights of all the episodes.
Because it records the live video at the end, right?
Like we have all those videos because you could keep it. So it's on my laptop or like anything, and I was like, that'd be funny. But like if it had the comments on it, it wouldn't be like, it would suck. So I was like, we should recreate all the things we did.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We're older now and stupid.
Yeah. But
And
like
we can
redo
get
them
hurt
on
a
like
lot
a
easier.
professional level,
Yeah.
but like should be like, okay, this was Scott on the skateboard. We're doing that now.
This is Scott eating shit once again.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Dude,
You're lucky to have all that stuff, man. I
used to,
lost
like,
all mine.
Jump off the fucking middle school that we lived across, like with my skateboard and shit. I don't know how.
And what's crazy is back then, like now, if you did that, you could. Oh, I'm putting it right to Facebook, and we'll get something out of it. You got nothing out of doing any of that last.
No,
time.
and that's
you
why
just
it was
show
awesome.
a neighbor. Hey, you want to watch
but
me
that's
fall?
what you said. Like,
Yeah.
Once we got like a good half hour of footage, we'd be like, tell 20 friends to come over.
Yeah.
Like, look how dumb we are.
Dude, it was awesome. I remember there was probably like 30 people in a room, and I mean it was during high school, and everybody's just smoking and drinking, and we were just having a house party.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, "What are we gonna do?" And somebody just goes, "Put in Firebox Home Movies." And I hate it. I still hate attention to this day with doing stuff or like people talking about it. So I would leave the room, and then I would just hear people laughing, and then they'd be like, "Dude, that was so ridiculous. You did that as a kid?" And I was just like, "I guess." But I wish I had all that shit, man. I'd chop it up. I'd put it. I'd still have access to a friend of mine, Josh Martin. We used to do. We made like a video for his parents for their wedding anniversary, and it was just me doing like a talk show and walking through the house. Like I think I might be able to get my hands on that, but the stuff that I lost was gold. It was just me just awkwardly putting my brother in a position like that, and to know to do that at that age was just.
Listen, you could still do that today, and it'd be just as funny.
I'd still laugh.
Dude, he was so mad. He was just like, because we would go over the whole thing, and I'd have all these costumes, and we'd create characters, and I'll be like, yeah, you're like this garbage man, and then he'd get on, and I'm trying not to laugh, and I'm like, yeah, you're so fat, and then I mean, it would end up with him just beating the shit out of me, and then we'd have to turn the camera off, and then my parents are mad.
We would do like fake skits. We would just recreate shit, and then we'd just do stupid stunt things, and just.
That's a cool direction to take everything, especially with like having wrote a couple books and having done all this stuff and having to keep it fresh and keep it something different from, you know what I mean? Like the drawings and everything is so awesome, but then I'm sure after a while it's like this. Like it's refreshing to talk to you because you've been on a bunch of time. This is a conversation, but to interview a business, I mean, after you do it over and over and over, it's like, okay, here's all right, hey, cool.
If you're not.
That's why I like doing other things.
Then nobody is. Like,
because if we break it up and we'll do you, and then I think we have a couple businesses after that.
So you think?
Yeah, keep the spotting flowing.
Keep dreaming.
If you break it up, you have better energy to put into things.
Yeah, it's just like I have so many ideas, and my problem was like executing them all. Like,
Yeah.
And when I was on the road, this is why like me taking time off allowed me to do so much shit.
Yeah.
Because I'd be coming home just tired, and I wouldn't even want to draw. More or less, like have the mentality be like creative. And if I had an idea, I'd be like, I'll do it when I come back next week. And then that week would turn into a month. And I'm like, you know what? I forgot all about it. So, like, I wanted to write a book for a while, but then people started being like, oh, you should do it. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I can.
Yeah.
Like, if actually people want to, once you hear people like want to read it and want you to do it, kind of pushes you a little bit more. Other than just like, I'm going to write it for myself. It's very much like a fucking diary at that point. And so it doesn't really matter. But more people suggested it. So I was like, all right, finally I'm going to like sit down. And then I wrote the majority of it. And then I just came to like a creative standstill. And then I traveled so much, I just never got back to it. So that's why it took so long the first time. But this one, I wrote in like 3 weeks. Like,
just banged it out.
Pretty much. And like, of course you had to go revise shit and like change stuff a bit. But then it took like 2 months to get it all done in total. So it was like, holy shit.
Did you release the name of the title?
I did. Yeah.
What are you calling it?
It's so.
Well, this is going to air the day you're dropping the book, correct?
Yeah.
Because it's next week, right?
Thursday. So
yeah,
it comes out on my birthday.
That's right. But I mean,
that was like the whole point.
No, this is going up this weekend.
I mean, we can, or it's. I didn't. It all depends on what he would.
If he release early, it doesn't ruin anything. So, it's called Rebel Without Applause.
That's right. Yeah. What'd you do for the cover? I want to know the cover. Tell me the cover. Why won't you show me the cover?
I could show you the cover on my phone.
Yeah.
So you saw like that cover?
Yeah.
So it's obviously a picture of me, and the back cover is different. So I did. So, the concept was like, and I say in the beginning, like that book, The Whiskey Business, was like you met the artist. So now, like this book, you're gonna meet like me.
Yeah.
So it's essentially the cover is. I'll show it to you. I won't spoil it. I'm not gonna because
like I said, if we're gonna air it early, I don't want you to ruin things that, and I don't want you to get in depth in the book because you're selling it. Like True. He said, why come in here and just read the whole thing, so I'll just tell all the stories and then everyone, That's why I said it's an awesome idea to do the DVD in there. It gives it like DVD, extra stuff.
Like so, one chapter is about like my experience on the show, and there's 17 chapters, and they're all like completely unrelated and like
I like
different.
That though.
So like the book flows, but it's also
all over the place.
Not a story, like not one big story. Like that one kind of was. So yeah, there's the whole point was like to put shit that no one knows. So I'm not just be like, you're like my best friend, you know me, you just read my book and you learned nothing.
Yeah.
So I wanted people like even my best friends to read it and be like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck? So there's a lot in there. That's like the Maury show, like just you're like, what the fuck? Like, am I real? Is this
that's
really
good
happening?
though. I feel like that's the fun stuff that like most people don't know about people.
Yeah, it's just like the Impaired show. Like you want to do shit different. Like even it's the same concept every episode. We get drunk and do dumb shit, but like you want it to be, you want each one to stand out.
When's the next time you're doing that? You're going back on tour now?
In March, but it's still like more sporadic than like 15 in a row again, just because I'm just fucking.
What do you plan on doing? Like, what's your schedule?
With cons or the show?
Cons.
I'm trying to like do mostly ones I can drive to. Like, I don't want to fly every weekend anymore, and just cons aren't exactly what they used to be. So,
do you feel like they're dying off a little bit?
Oh my god, like they're so oversaturated.
There hasn't been any shows to push it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. That doesn't help.
What was the last big one that popped? Game of Thrones?
Walking Dead, I would say.
No, but I'm saying
Game of Thrones is a big.
Yeah, but Walking Dead ended.
They didn't really have people at cons though, so that didn't affect it.
They just made too much money off the show.
Yeah. There's a lot of DC shows, a lot of fucking Marvel shit, and just nothing's really like sticking. It's kind of just like a clusterfuck right now. Like the guest lists everywhere, just like all over the place.
Yeah. Is The Walking Dead still like a massive popular con thing?
No.
So that just kind of fell off.
Jesus, no. Yeah.
No.
I think
So do they still do that tour?
sort of.
Yeah, just probably very scaled down.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of shit with that, but the con world's just like they just killed it. Like they took a good thing and then they spoiled it.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to do fucking 40 a year anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not like where I see myself. I did that for 5 years. Now that
It's a fucking grind, man.
yeah, and now that I actually took a step back, I like realize where I want to go, like the next direction. Like
It's important to do that.
So
What do you want to do?
just podcast. No,
It's like professional
I
arm
just want to
wrestling.
do this podcast. I'll be here tomorrow.
I want to build Chinese finger traps.
That's fine.
It's already been done, I think.
We have a starter kit here.
So no, like the book was fun. That was something completely different. I want to get back into the show more because I still do it like once a month, or like we did a Halloween one, we did a Thanksgiving one, Christmas one, but it's hard to get the guests, and I was like, do I want to have the same guests, and so it's just like what it is,
Yeah.
or do I want to still make it like the principle, like, or the concept of someone new every time?
It's difficult when you step back from that. I mean, when we returned back to doing JCE, I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know how it was going to go. I know we needed to replace people on the show, and then I didn't know how the replacement goes. And then when we started doing it, I saw where things were fitting in place, and then I'm like, all right, this is worthwhile doing. I think it's going to be a show, but I mean, and then you don't really know what you're going to do with it then, and then it's just like, it's very difficult taking a step back and having to decide what you actually want to do.
Yeah, and like you got to take into like what the audience reacts, like what episodes did the best, what guests did the best. Like if you
who's going to keep talking? Like we had Dan on, and I like after the first time he did it, after the show, I was like, you did awesome for never being. I've had people come on here that totally melted down, and like you're just like, especially when we were doing it out of my apartment, like it was rough, and then it was like now it's like. We did an episode with people that we didn't air because they were both so uncomfortable. But I mean, he came in and just hit a home run. He was busting balls. He knew sports, and I was like, "Cool, I think Dan's the third."
Yeah,
but it's like
those people. And like how they.
But in your case, it's like, do you make this? The show's always different because of the different guests, or do you make it the show's?
It's a tough
your friends
call. Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could just keep going in and out. I mean, that's essentially how this was because we had guests canceled, and he's like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "And 2 weeks went by. I'm like, he's like, fuck it," and then we just sat here and we just started bullshitting, and I was like, "Oh, this is easy for us to do."
Yeah, and then people are like, "Wow, that was a really good show." We didn't say anything.
And then there's people that
people bail on you. That's the thing that sucks the most. Is like, we've been talking about this for a fucking month, and like the day of, you're like,
dude, that's how we started doing solo shows. And at one point I was so pissed and I said, fuck him, we're not doing guests. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm done. And we did like 5 in a row. And then we were like, I'm like, oh, okay, well now this is nice to know that, because there'll be some times where guests don't line up, where somebody will cancel, and then he'll be like, what do you want to do? And I was like, just do a solo show, grab a 6-pack. But like now we have the option of that because it's what the show turned into. So now we can do a guest like you, and then it's like if you would cancel last minute, we could go back and forth. We could get drunk and do that.
If it gets boring, we can just have The Rock talk the Vin Diesel show.
We just talk about Fast and
Still never
Furious
had that.
for
We
32
never had that
hours
show
straight.
yet.
Because you were like, how many shows are you doing? And I'm like, it's not even really figured out yet. It's like I'm just trying to separate things for different listeners, and sometimes people like it, and sometimes people don't like the guest, and then
we have stalkers.
Yeah.
There's show stalkers. She drops fingernails and hair clippings. Kelly Pettis is her name. She lives in Boston.
Yeah, we have stalkers.
I feel like this got uncomfortable.
No, she knows. She knows she's a part of the show. I have her on my Ring recording. She like takes cigarette butts from off the street.
She's outside waiting right now.
Yeah, probably.
That guy leaves.
Oh, she did ask me to be her Valentine.
And that's tomorrow.
She wrote it in blood and left it in the mailbox.
It's
Kelly,
on the glass outside
Kelly,
window.
Enough is enough. We did a couple PSAs and we need you to stop. Okay.
She's at your house waiting.
Probably. I think she's coming home this weekend.
I hope so.
She's like, "Will you be my Valentine?" And like wants
you're like
to pay for things.
It's October.
Yeah. And then she's like dotting her eyes with fingernails. It was really weird. She's crazy, but we love her. We want to bring her on. I'd like to have her.
Totally.
I would like to have her have her own
recommend it,
dating show. Like she's,
Yeah. That's awesome.
I would like to raffle somebody off on a date
Put
with
on,
her
like,
and then take like a
Double
camera
Dare
crew
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's awesome that you're getting into that, because now that you have time to focus on that show's going to turn into something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I have the time, but like,
Yeah.
does everyone else know? Like,
You just find people who can.
For the most
Yeah.
part, you can, if it's a Friday night or a Saturday night, you can find people to come over and drink.
Yeah.
You
True.
don't think you can, but if you start
you can.
pushing
You
it
can.
that premise,
But
and then
are
when
they
they come over to
Are
drink,
they funny? Like, are they good enough to do
well,
this?
you'll know.
But it's also
You find out.
It's
find out
also
early
like
on.
you don't just do these and they write themselves either.
Yeah.
It's not just like
Well,
this.
somebody I was bringing on never did one before, and they were like, well, what is this going to be? And I'm like, they're like, I don't know what you would ask me. And I was like, look, it is completely my job to keep this going.
Yeah.
And his, you know what I mean? Like if he sees me in trouble, I know he picks up stuff, but primarily I'm in control of this conversation. And if I'm getting nothing out of you,
No, he's not. Fuck him. Don't listen to him.
I have to keep this going. I have to make you feel comfortable. I have to make you feel,
Which I don't.
Where's
at
your
all.
tooth?
Yeah.
Get your tootsies out.
If anyone's
Yeah.
listening, I don't.
Yeah.
at all.
oh, whatever. I'm paying a homeless man to lick your toes.
That lady's waiting outside.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like at one point, it's like once you start learning how to not direct, but keep things going,
Yeah.
it'll just work itself out. You have something there. I think you should be doing it like a little bit more produced. You could throw it up on YouTube. Like there's a million things you can do with
we
that.
do have a YouTube.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, like that's not where I want to do it live. And it's also right now it's like not for money. It was just for It was just another thing for like the audience. Because when people
I think it's good because you wanted to do it so people saw another side of you.
Yeah, and then like they see me at conventions, they're like, "Well, I know you drink. I know you have. I know you're
just
fun."
like, "Ooh."
But the thing is,
I
like,
want to
with-
do another one too.
With me, I'm like, I'm not any different when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Like everybody that comes on, like I'm like,
But see, with the conventions, the best part about you was after they were over. Like it's the after, like at
Yeah.
the hotel. Like when we went out that night, that was so much fun.
but the thing is, when you're bringing people on the show, you're like, are they okay drunk?
Yeah. It's a risky
Like, they
take,
might
man.
be, like,
what did we do? Two
obnoxious
or
or-
three we never aired? One was with you. One was at my studio.
It wasn't because it was like we were bad. It was just
We
because
did
it
one
was.
at your apartment.
Yeah. And that was when we
fucking
were
hours
super
long.
wasted. And like we were drinking. He brought a shotgun. I wonder if that's still floating
No.
around here.
No, I
Filled
threw
with
it away.
tequila.
So no, it was an M1 carbine. It was a glass bottle like this.
Oh yeah, I used to have one of those.
Yeah,
Mine was
well-
like tequila.
Yeah, tequila. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no, no, I
yes.
drank it.
Yeah, I did, but I like
Yeah.
kept the thing because it was cool.
Yeah, no, I drank it, and then when we were all done, I couldn't see the computer screen. to edit.
Hendrix's kid was there, and he was shoving soap in our mouth
Yeah.
if we were swearing. I was just like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, see that.
Super professional.
Even though we're talking about it, you still don't want to air it. Like, you know.
No,
Oh, I was fine
dude.
with
He couldn't. Well, then he was so fucked up he couldn't. Because I was like, put it up. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And then the next day, there's like, I think there's like people stayed at my apartment, and I'm just like, ugh. I'm like,
he called
dude.
me-
Everyone
called
in
me-
everyone in that fucking complex is like 50 to 65. I'm like 20.
He called me the next day and
8.
just goes, "Hey, I think I made fun of one of my friend's brothers. I probably shouldn't
Well,
have did
there's
that."
Yeah.
that, and then it's like
It's tough. I mean,
you don't want to be like David Hasselhoff eating a cheeseburger.
Well, that's the thing too. Is a lot of people get drunk. I mean, everybody does it, but then who has a recording of what you did? And then when you actually see and
I
sound
still think we
how
should-
stupid you are when you're drunk, it's
like
it's
that
tough.
commercial
still
we
think-
clipped.
I still think we should run the fucking the frying pan one.
Oh no, he said we can 100%.
We should. That was a
Yeah.
good show to begin with.
A friend of ours, Tim, came on and
Yeah.
he pushed this company that he worked for, and then after,
Literally, like the day
2
or
days
two
after,
they fired him. He's like, "Oh, we probably shouldn't."
yeah,
I was.
they let him go. Like they were cutting resources, and he was running
But
their
the whole
social
show
media.
was about
so.
him pushing these.
And he was so happy.
see, that sucks.
He was so happy. He's like, dude, I'm finally doing. He's like into art, and he's like, it gave him time to draw, and he was like talked about his dead end job he had before that, and he was so happy to be in it. I mean, he's going to end up being in a better place because now he's working for himself and like doing things and finding avenues and kind of like where I was at. But then if you stay in it, like we were talking earlier, like it's tough to walk away from a job and just be working for yourself. But once you're in that lane and you start getting traction, there's really no other feeling like it, especially if you're the type of person who does not want to work for other people. or just do creative
I
stuff
don't.
all the time.
Dude, see, that's what I told myself. Like, once I more or less walked out of my old job, I was like, I can't ever do this again. And like, I think about that every time I think about like,
that's twice now.
you know, because there'll be like slower times or just whatever, and you're like, you just like hit a fucking wall, and you're like, you know, no matter how shitty this is right now, that was shittier.
Yep.
So you kind of use that as a motivation, and then just go from there. Like I was telling you earlier, like no one makes you money, and you know that. You're like, whenever you're in a pinch, you're like, you know, I quit this job to do this full time, but like, now what? That's when you're like under the gun, and you're like, I'm going to find a way to make money. I'm going to find a way to pay my bills.
And that's where you kind of start building avenues. And it's like, I didn't realize the avenues that I built. And then once I was 100% doing this, I'm like, all right, well, I can get this from there. I can get this from that. I can get this from that. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like if you could always jump back on to do the convention scene.
I mean, like that's always going to be there, whether I want to be there or not. And then like, that's when your creativity hits, when you fucking need it.
Yeah.
Not when you're just sitting in a room like, what should we do? Like, what can I do? Like, how can I make money? You know, it's like when you're like struggling, you're like, fuck, this is it. Like, here's this idea.
It makes you figure shit out.
And I'm going to try it whether it works or not. And just, I mean, you pray that it does, but you're still like, you tried it and like, you feel that.
3 times.
I know. I don't know if it changes.
I don't know. I've never done that.
Both of you are not fucking professional at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, Tim wants to come back on, and because he didn't know what to do, and I'm like, I'm not putting your episode out. I'm like, I told him, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want people.
I don't like you.
Like, how horrible would that have been if for everyone to start messaging him and been like, hey man, I'm really glad you're happy about this job.
It in, yeah.
And then he's not, and then like you probably wouldn't tell anyone, oh yeah, I'm not there anymore. So then he finally hit me up like probably last month, and he's like, hey man, I don't really give a fuck if you put that up. And I was just like, well, but it was it was one of the shows where it was like, this is what captures what the show's all about. He hit every single fucking corner. It was a home run. And then that's why I told him, I'm like, and then I saw it the other day in the things, and I was like, you know what? I need to do the video, and then it'll also give us space. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's going to buff us out a show. Like it's so like we usually get ahead. We usually get ahead, and then somebody fucking cancels, and then I'm like, fuck. And then it's like comes in 3, and then now we're behind the 8 ball. And I'm like, I'm saying to him, I thought we were 5 fucking ahead. How did this happen? And then it's like, goes back to, well, so-and-so canceled last minute. And it sucks. Yeah. It sucks.
You got to like minimize things that are not in your control.
Yeah.
So a guest canceling is out of your control.
Yeah.
Well, we figured that out right away when we're like counting on these people. And the day of, he'd mess with me and just go, hey man, no show.
And I try.
It's a fucking month ago.
Yeah. And I like hit the one guy up because I remember.
Shit happens. Even if they, didn't just cancel because they didn't feel like fucking doing it. Like,
no, like I hit him up Wednesday and I said, are we still good? And then it was like, I hit him up Tuesday. Yeah, we're good. Hit him up Wednesday. Yeah, we're good. Thursday. Hey man, this is the address. Come on down. And then it was nothing. And I was like, hey man. And then I like hit him up 3 times and I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. And then I'm like, all right. Like I'm very rarely pissed off that enough to be like, go fuck yourself. I'll never fucking interview. Well, but when you do shit like that, I'm like, you put me and him in a position where it's like, now it doesn't matter to the fact where I can jump in and be a backup guest, or me and him can just do the show. But it's like, that's not what we wanted to do.
We'll see, like that.
We booked you. We talked to you. Like, I'm thinking about what I'm going to talk to you about. We set the whole thing up, and then you don't fucking show. Like, fuck off, man.
Well, that's different. Like, something actually happens, they can't come.
This is not about Jay Torres, because if he listens, Jay, this has nothing to do with
It's also like with the Impaired show.
I love you, Jay Torres.
You're like,
oh yeah.
It's like, do I want to come on there and get fucking wasted tonight? And then, it's like, maybe I thought I could do that a month ago, but now I have to do shit the next day, so I can't come drink.
Who are these sissies you're referring to?
No friends of mine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't need friends like that.
I don't need that negativity in my life.
No. Like, you got to cut those fucking people out and only have cool people that
you can't be a fucking hero. Like, don't bother.
Where do you see it going?
I don't know. Like, that's why I like it, because there is no end game. Like, I have no goal. It's not for money.
There's so much stuff you can do,
which what makes like the freedom like better, because
You should have the fans dictate what you drink.
Yeah, if I pushed it, if I I was like,
give 3 options: Fireball,
if I
whiskey.
paid people to come on, or like I just did any of this shit, like it.
I
would take away
I think
so
it should just naturally progress to where if it's just something you fuck around with as an outlet to not be doing the other shit you're doing.
It was essentially for fun.
I want to do it. I think we should do one here.
We will. We'll do it right now. We'll film it after this.
Just get smashed. We have no more beer. I should have grabbed beer today. I always forget that, like, I should have went to the store, but I always forget that, like, I was like, yeah, it's okay. Like, because I'm so used to having a 9 to 5 the next day where it's like, I now, like I was telling you earlier, I get sleep in, but then I just got to work later into the night. But I'm usually working on this nonstop now. The only time I really take breaks is the fights. That's it. Which this weekend is going to be so much fun.
The problem, like when you don't have another job, like my schedule's so fucked. Like I hadn't traveled in so long, that kept me on some sort of a schedule. Like I know like the weekends are done. So like now I'm like, I fucking start working at 10 p.m., stop at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I have nothing to do tomorrow except work again. So
do you fall into traps where you're wanting your time because no one's texting you? It's like super late at night. I stay up till 3 now because it's my time because no one bothers me. I don't have to check emails.
Yeah.
I don't have to check fucking my phone.
Like
I'm left alone in this little pocket.
It's very hard for me to like put my phone down or just not just put it down, but like focus.
Yeah.
Like, I do like my adult shit during the day, like stuff you can only do when like banks are open or like pay bills and all that crap. So you do that during the day, and then at night you just like it's quieter and people stop talking to you, and then you can like by 10 p.m. I'm like, okay, I can like focus.
Yeah.
So that's when your best shit comes out. Like I'm in the zone then. Like I could I'd be like, oh, wake up early, get this shit done by noon, and then fucking do whatever. No, it doesn't work.
There's some times where I'll just get in a mood and I'll know I want to start working on projects.
Yeah.
And then like I'll get a little high, and then I'll put on some music, and then that's when I get on my dry erase board. But I have an entire it
is now.
I have a whole dry erase board with like what I want to do with a cooking show and like what I want to do with Off the Rails, and I have all the guests lined out, and I'm like, I wrote all that stuff at like 2 a.m. But then I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck happened last night? And then I look and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I wrote all that down.
That's also the problem. Like when I was writing the book, the entire thing was written on my phone.
Yeah, that's not loud.
I was like a little gerbil drinking.
Your little water canteen. But, I wrote it all down, and then I'd go back to look at it. I'm like, now I got to retype this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck did I say? Like, I knew what I was trying to say, but...
Do you plan out your drawings? Like, because I know, like, you said that all that stuff's in advance, but, like, do you do that all at once, or do you do it, like, where you'll be sitting around and, like, be like, all right, what should we do this year? And then you're like, all right, I want to do this and that and this and that. Like, is that all written out at one time, or do you kind of pick and choose throughout the time?
Not the entire year, no. Yeah. Like, I base shit around movies coming out. I base shit around...
What are you doing for Fast 9?
Ignoring Bill.
Yes, good for you.
When it should have ended
he's
12
draw
years
a
ago.
pile of shit.
Yeah, you can say what you want. That shit ain't tanking. That shit is not going to tank. 500 million views on the trailer. Hobbs and Shaw in the rear view. Here we go. It's going to be the most ridiculous one yet.
Hobbs and Shaw's up to number 4.
It's going to be the most ridiculous one. No, I mean, like in the commercial, he drives off of a bridge and then a rope attaches to the bottom of a car, and then that swings him across a ravine in the jungle.
I think I did that on the way here.
Dude, it's like, I watched a podcast where somebody broke down the entire, it was an hour and a half of them breaking down all the movies.
This is the new movie?
No, the whole series. And like,
the timeline.
Yeah, the timeline. And it went from like where... And I forgot, like, Vin Diesel and Paul Walker are not in the second and third one, and then they all come back in the fourth, and then in the fifth is when
Paul's in the second one with Tyrese.
Yes, it is, and then the one where they went over to Tokyo is where they're both out. Yeah. Because I think it was like differences with shit. Then they bring them all back in the fourth.
No, they're not both out because Vin comes in at the end.
Oh yeah, at the very end of the credits.
How do I know this?
I saw
know you're
1
a secret
and 2,
fan.
and then like. The first one with The Rock?
The first one's so good.
I was like, why is he
not with
sweating the entire movie?
I didn't mind The Rock coming in.
Because he's the most electrifying man in entertainment history.
They said when they brought The Rock in, and then the fifth one is when they changed directors, and then that's when it turned into like the Transformers bullshit and like them driving through cars, driving the cars from. And then I was like, oh well, that makes sense. They brought in somebody who makes that style movie, and now they're like superheroes, but they're not, and they're somehow in the FBI, but then they're not, and then characters die, but then they bring them back, and then they're just like
I was like, isn't the original cast?
Dude, I remember we went
Paul Walker hologram.
In the last one they did the Han character. They had a funeral for him.
I don't even know this fucking.
And then I remember we usually just go high. Like we'll go see Triple X, and there's a bunch of us that go, and we're all in. We're all in. It's so much fun. So then they had a funeral for the guy, and then now he's back in 9. And I don't think they did. I don't think they really explain it. Like they're just like, hey, he's back. And people are like, oh,
like all
Han's
the
back.
Halloween movies and
It is
stuff.
the only series.
No,
it is
he's
the
dead.
only series.
No, he's like 100% dead.
Like the
He's
Halloween.
back.
You're like, we're
I
gonna
know he's
ignore
back.
the last
What I'm
10
saying
He's
is,
back.
he
John
literally-
Cena's in it now. They
Oh,
replaced
good.
wrestlers.
Yeah.
I thought he was a firefighter now.
He's
Could be.
C-list star.
Daddy daycare
He was in Super. He was all over the Super Bowl. Come on, he's huge right now.
But I'm saying
He's
is,
bigger
they
than The
literally.
Rock. His daughter is atrocious.
Jason Statham smashed in the Han. Went on top of him. His car blew up.
Rock.
You saw everything. He's dead.
Yes.
Daughter's atrocious.
Yeah.
Like looking.
Yeah, looks like him with a wig.
Who?
Dude,
Rock?
the mom
That's what his first
looks
wife.
like him
That's his first
with
wife.
him.
That's what? Whatever.
Was his first wife or like first baby mama?
His first wife was like Hawaiian.
But she's like into fitness like he is. And she's
No,
like
his new one now is.
not her.
She was
the first daughter's mom.
Sounds like he's really going through marriages.
No, he's been with this one for a while. He has a new kid.
He has like 12 kids.
Listen,
Have you done The Rock
March?
yet?
He knows about
To
it.
draw?
March.
No, because he looks exactly the same in
Yeah,
every movie.
I
It
will
doesn't
draw
matter.
him. If you could
Terramana
draw him in
comes
the
out
fanny
March.
pack.
That's what. Listen, schedule it.
Comes out
when
March?
We'll do a drawing. Terramana comes out. His
What does that mean?
tequila company.
Who's Tequila
Oh
Company?
god, because
Rocks?
he needed that. Yeah, he needed
Yeah.
that. He needs
He's
more
been pushing
money.
it for 8 months. Everything he
It's
does,
been-
he's
I
like,
don't know. I
Probably
don't-
longer than
tequila.
that.
I don't
Yeah.
follow him.
Yeah.
No, he's done it on everything. The Super Bowl, he walks out and goes, I'm giving everybody, let's do shots of tequila and giving everybody a bottle of my tequila.
Well, I know he always like his characters on like Ballers and all that. Like he was always the tequila guy. So I mean, it makes sense that they do that.
He has his own tequila company.
Yeah.
I
Who
recently,
doesn't? The guys from Breaking
I
Bad have
recently
tequila
watched-
companies. Jorge
I
Masvidal
recently watched
does.
his
It's
the
old
wrestling
news.
movie they did with
The
the
Rock sucks.
It's okay to say
3
no
times.
to say no to a project.
Listen,
Dwayne. You don't have to do everything everyone
Moving away from the
Listen to me.
spike.
every
listen to me.
fucking
So you are going to say Vin Diesel's a better actor than The Rock?
I didn't say that.
Well, then that's what this conversation works into because he only likes Vin Diesel.
No. I don't like The Rock 'cause I think he's fake on social media. Do I think he's a better actor than The Rock? I do. I think he's been in more movies. The Rock just started doing it. The Rock showed his range in Ballers, and he can't play anything other than the muscle guy. He does a really
Because he-
good one-trick
But
pony.
he played himself in Ballers.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, but I mean, then the one season, it was season 3, and I was like, oh, he's terrible. He was supposed to play like a
Dude, that
down and
show
out
just got
drug,
so
but he was
bad.
supposed to be playing. He
So
was addicted
quick.
to drugs, and he couldn't. Like
Yeah.
he couldn't do it because his range is
steroids,
that.
yeah.
I'm not saying Vin Diesel's a great actor, but he is a better
He was
actor.
great in
It's all natural.
the
Vin Diesel was
the,
good.
The weightlifting movie. He was a drug addict in that.
Then he did the Fighting with My Family movie was kind of good. He wasn't.
That's
really
what I was
watched
just
that.
talking about. I just saw that recently.
But he
It's not
wasn't in
bad.
it, so that was
not
why it was
very, not
good.
really, not much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think he does a lot of good stuff. I don't really hate him. I just like the little rivalry. But I do think Vin Diesel's been in more movies with different range. I think he is a better
he's
actor.
like,
Slightly.
No way. He was, dude. He was so good in
Zero
what's it
range.
called? Boiler Room. Hey, look, I'm giving Vin
Yeah.
Diesel or
What was the movie
what's
like?
his face credit.
I
You
think
can
it
at
was
least
like
give
the
some
same
back.
cast, but it's like dad
The Four
died.
Brothers was good with
wasn't
Vin
Vin
Diesel,
Diesel.
or it was what was it?
That was
Four
Mark
Brothers.
Wahlberg.
Not
Yeah.
Four Brothers. What
I know
was
what
the
you're
other
I
saying.
know
one?
that's what I'm talking
I
about.
know
I,
what you're
can't think of
He has
it.
a couple where there was a couple in his
like the
beginning
Father's
career
Son or something was
before he turned into the Fast and Furious guy. There was some range in his acting, but he was solid in fucking Boiler Room.
But then he disappeared for like a while.
Yeah,
because he was what was the one when he shined his eyeballs?
Pitch Black.
yeah, Pitch Black. But that new one
Or
he's
Riddick
coming
or
out with,
whatever.
what's the
It's a
what's
DC,
the
or,
fucking one shot or
Dead
dead
Shot.
kill or I don't
Yeah,
know.
that
I don't
there's,
follow
like,
DC at all.
No advertising for, so you know it's gonna.
I follow him on
I don't
social
think he's
media.
done too much with it. That's why.
It's not coming out.
I think
yet.
they did
Comes out
like
like
really
May.
early pre-production shit, and then he started doing fucking Fast and
Yeah.
Furious.
Yeah, he's like, I know what's gonna make me money. Let's get back to this shit.
Yeah.
No, he'll make a lot of money.
Dude,
on
overseas, he hit when Triple X hit, because I look up
doing cons again.
I'll look up numbers just to argue with people. Like, one of my favorite things is to argue about Vin Diesel because I have too much information.
Dude, I
about him.
love IMDb and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking.
Dude, did you see the
box
picture I
office
bought of him?
budgets.
I bought it on
I
Etsy.
don't want to talk too much about Mark Sinclair.
Big Vin.
That's his real name.
No, I know.
Yeah, well, Dwayne Johnson, whatever. We can go back and forth all
I
day. You
wouldn't
want to
go
play
by
table
that
tennis?
name either.
That's his name.
Yeah,
He doesn't go.
he goes by
anything
The
else.
Rock.
He goes by Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
He doesn't go by. This guy doesn't go Mark Vin Diesel Sinclair.
He should though.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a great
What's the
name.
name of that movie you're talking? It's gonna bother me now.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
He's gonna draw it. Control the
That's
movie
another
cover.
person that looks exactly the same in every movie, just a bald guy.
How do you fit your drawing into everything else you're doing now?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you fit it? Like, you obviously have a schedule, so it's like you have to be doing, like, do you schedule like, all right, well, I have to have this shit done before this time, and then I'm doing this shit in between there. Like, how did you fit in writing in between drawing? Because I mean, you're still steadily coming out with stuff, which has got to be a motherfucker. Because I know how it is to try and keep T-shirts coming.
Yeah, like that's the thing. You got to stay creative, and you got to like keep your edge because I was doing both.
Knock around, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah. He was, like
So
I
I was
said,
doing
right when he
both.
started doing the Fast and Furious is when it just went one trick pony. Then
He
it's like
wasn't
The Rock.
He was in Save It, Ryan Ryan.
For
Nobody
like
knows that.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was,
No, I did. Big fan.
Did you know he was in Los Bandoleros?
Yeah, I have it tattooed across my throat.
I got that in prison.
Strays, Multifacial. Nobody knows any of these.
Multifacial.
Yeah, literally called Multifacial.
There's a reason nobody knows that movie.
That's in my catalog of what I own on DVD.
For After Hours. So yeah, I would do both like each day, like a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't give yourself deadlines, you're not gonna
fucked.
you're not gonna get shit done.
Yeah, that's why I try and book
Like I
the
want
show.
the book. So I had when I started writing, I was like, when should I come out with this? So I came out the last one in summer. I was like, I think during the winter. It's like because a book in the summer is like everyone goes to the beach, everyone. No one's going to cons as much in July. So, nobody needs artwork. So why not a book? That's a good time to drop it. And it worked. And I'm like, now it's the dead of winter, like in the middle of the dead of winter. And I was like, nobody's going to cons again. Put another book out.
Yeah.
I was like, because I wrote it and I was like, I had so much more to say, but I don't like to like rant or like just carry on and get boring. I want it all to be like, you could either read it in one sitting or you could just take your time with it, but you were never just like, oh my God, get to the fucking point. Like get to the,
Yeah.
So I like, that's why they're shorter because I trim the fat. Like I don't ramble the whole time, like, or anything. Like I tell you the story and that's the story. Like that's the chapter. That was the hardest part, just not to be like, get on a tangent and be like, fuck this, fuck you,
Yeah.
fuck.
The funniest thing I heard is, like I don't have a lot of time to read. Like I'm in my car or
Yeah.
I'm at work. So if I get a book, I'll do like the audiobook. So I like when the people
Yeah.
read their own audiobooks.
He's
Yeah.
gonna
The
do
best
that.
one is
Mike's gonna read it.
the best one is Artie Lang's book. He hired a guy with a speech impediment
Oh my God.
to read his audiobook. So he said there's chapters that took 4 times as long, and the audio people, he didn't tell them about it, and the guy's just going, "Good," and then like they're like, again, and the guy would keep doing it. He goes, "Oh my God," he goes, "It was so amazing." They paid a guy, he did it on purpose.
And that's better if they don't know
It
it.
was
till they buy
hilarious.
it.
Yeah, you didn't know it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
But it's like I do read a lot, but I don't.
I can't. Honestly, I was never. I can't sit down and read a book. I fall asleep.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I
it
don't
is.
want
I
you
put
to
myself
get
to sleep.
something and be like, it's an autobiography. It's 800 pages.
But it's not
Like,
even that.
ugh.
It's just I do it with every book. It can be the most interesting. I can't do it.
Yeah. I'm like, well, the thing is, like, I don't want to say it all in one take.
No, but you don't want to do it anyway. Because the good thing is some stories are cool. That if you had the book and do the audio version, it's cool to hear it in your voice, you describing it.
Yeah.
But then some people don't like that. Some people like to make the idea how it goes in their own head.
Like I say things, but I don't always go into like vivid detail about every single thing because it's kind of like you want to know more. So like now when you see me, you'll be like, hey, remember when you talked about that? What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you. You know, it's kind of like a segue almost. But it's interesting. Like you like learn about yourself, writing about yourself.
I'm not writing a book.
I always enjoyed writing. It's really the only thing I excelled at in high school was writing.
Here we are, just talking.
I won an award for the Young Authors Club.
Oh my God!
I wrote a short story. I wrote a short story about the first time I wrote
bunnies.
I wrote Hercules.
It was about
at Dorney Park. And then they were like, "Hey, you won this." And then I was too young
Dorney Park
to even. Yeah. Then they brought us to like Lehigh or Lafayette, and then they had authors come and like talk to you about like writing and
try to guide you.
Yeah, but you're too young. Like I was just like, where are we?
Like fucking Hercules.
Yeah,
like,
I just wanted to tell a good
Coke
story.
Here, free Pepsi?
It was terrible. It was terrible. I won, and I was like, my parents were so proud of me. But then they were like, the teacher was like, I really like this, and I think you should read it in front of the monitor, and then we're going to put you live in everyone's homeroom. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that at all. And then I'm just sitting there and I'm like, ba 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 ba. Just didn't stop, didn't take a breath. I'm like, ah. And then I just remember coming back to homeroom, my friends being like, dude, you suck. It was like Chuck-a-Low-Chuck.
Fuck you all.
Yeah.
No, see, yeah, it's different. Like I'm not like giving a speech. It's like at that point, reading your own book out loud is fucking
terrible.
Awful.
Terrible.
Like nobody wants to do that.
Terrible.
I want you to like read it and think about what I'm thinking as I wrote it, not me like telling it.
Have you ever gone? And when I was in New York, I'd stumble when I go into like a bookstore, because there's always bookstores were tied into music stores. They'd have the author there, and they would read the first chapter in front of everybody.
Like, no.
So fucking awkward. They're reading, and I was just like, dude,
just sign the fucking book reading. And shut up. Yeah. Yeah. No. Never.
Oh, I walked a couple of those. I was just like, wow. Like, the cover of the book looks good. And I'm like, hey, maybe I'll look about this. And when you hear the author read it, I was like, all right. You're
like, that just ruined it.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
The whole point is like to have your imagination. That's why people like hate when they do movie adaptations, because you're like, that's not how I pictured it. That's not what they look like.
I mean, who's ever said the movie was better than the book?
Nobody wants to see the author read their own fucking book either. And you're just like, ew.
No.
Can you imagine if like Stephen King read all his own books?
Did you watch The Outsider yet?
I am.
Yeah. What do you think of it? I actually want to read the book, because I know that if that show is, it's not having a hard time, but I'm following it, but there's not enough time to tell that story. And I was like, man, this book is probably ridiculously crazy.
The book's not even that long.
Oh, really?
It's not. To make a 10-hour, and you know if it does well,
because it's 10 or 12. Oh, yeah. Like, they already are. They have to at this point.
It feels a little dragged out now. Like the first 2 episodes were insane.
I was in. Well, it was the first 3, and then after 3, it started feeling like I was like, all right, this is hitting a little flat. Like, it just picked up.
Shouldn't have died yet.
Yeah, and then it just spoiler alert. And then
it's been like 6 weeks.
Yeah, and then the last episode it started picking up again, and then I was like, all right, cool. But I like it. It's a good team. I love Jason Bateman. Anything Jason Bateman touches is so good anymore.
But it's just like Stephen King.
Ozark's fucking good.
That's coming back too. But like Stephen King, just like his endings are just shit.
He's so bizarre.
No, but his movies were always horse shit.
That too.
Because anything he wanted to put his hands in, he was horrible.
Horrible.
Well, they interviewed him on the set of because I watched like the behind the scenes and shit, and it's just he's just so weird. He just feels like he doesn't get sunlight.
What would you?
What
would you
has like bird lips? Like? Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know.
No, yeah, he's a fucking weirdo.
So, but that's
of course he
why
is.
His books are good. So, but I can't even read his books half the time because you're like,
my brother's obsessed with
this.
My little brother,
pages, 200 is relevant.
Fucking night terrors, and I'm like, and then I find out he's reading all Stephen King's books.
So The Shining, he wrote The Shining, and then when Kubrick did the thing, Stephen King said it sucked.
Yeah,
and said it's a horrible movie, and then he didn't want to be involved in it. He wanted to change the name, and it came out, and they're like, "This is the fucking one of the biggest movies ever," and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'd like to rewatch that. I mean, old Jack Nicholson.
Oh my god,
he's so fucking good.
Yeah, I remember he was so awesome because my parents, like, they were even like, dude, like and then you look at back like old Jack Nicholson stuff, like he was just such a badass, like even off camera.
You can't do any of that stuff anymore.
anymore.
Yeah,
No.
like they'd see interviews where they'd show say he'd just show up and they're like, no, that's how he is, or like he'd have like sunglasses on, a rocks glass, and be like, what are we doing, boys?
Well, no, that was him and
and then be like, we going out tonight?
It was him and
and then he would just get trashed with like Brad Pitt and all them.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
was the same way. He'd show up fucking trash or show up and he'd sit down and they're like interview him and just be like, the perfect thing is when Norm Macdonald does like a thing of
Gary
him.
Busey.
He just keeps going. He just chews gum nonstop. He's like, what's going on?
You're like, oh my god.
Exactly how it
yeah.
is.
I feel like that's not a thing anymore, and like
you couldn't do that. They wouldn't put you on any shows.
Like there's the publicists are involved, and like they were saying how crazy it was when he was on set with for Batman, like he stayed in character and like all that stuff.
It definitely, like the Outsider, like definitely had to be on a movie channel show.
Yeah, I mean HBO
like
does
they
such
do
a good
True
job.
Detective so well.
True Detective's awesome.
And like
the second one wasn't as good. The first one though.
I like them all.
No,
I'll stand up for it.
one,
I know everyone talks shit on that, but it's like, how are you supposed to be better than what that fucking first one was?
Oh my God.
Anything follow? If they would have put the one that just came out after that, everyone would say that one sucked. There had to be space between that. That first one was just fantastic television across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So HBO does a lot of good crime shit, and so it was like a perfect thing. If that was on like Fox or anything, you'd be like, fuck this shit.
Oh God, I think HBO is 100%. Like I got HBO now. I think it's like $10-12 a month.
Yeah.
And everything on there. The Succession. Did you watch that yet?
Not
that
yet.
show's crazy.
Not
then
yet.
what was the one?
I love Brian Cox,
Righteous
though, yeah.
Gemstones.
That was fucking
Oh my
awesome.
God, I can't wait for that to
I
go
love
any
Danny
further.
McBride, though, yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. Everything on there. And then I was running out of stuff, and then I started watching what's the one? Shit. It's with the guys start up like the computer company. Somethingville.
Silicon Valley?
Yeah, Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Nothingville. That one was hilarious. I watched the
That was
whole
good,
thing.
yeah.
I didn't like how it ended, but I see why they did it that way. It was more realistic.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't know.
There's a lot of good. Westworld. HBO
That guy.
fucking.
Westworld dropped off.
I didn't
Yeah,
watch season
God.
2. I heard it's not that good.
Dude,
and
no.
I'm
It
in
didn't
the-
make any
I turned it off
fucking
after
sense.
like the third show. After
No.
the third, I was like, no.
I'll watch it through because I think the third one's coming out again, and I forget
First
who's in
was
it.
good.
The guy
Yeah.
from Breaking Bad, I think,
Aaron
said
Paul,
it. Yeah.
he's a, but still, I'm like,
But everything
where
he
do
does
they go?
outside of Breaking Bad is not good
No.
at all.
He,
What did you think of El Camino? I was just like, all right.
like,
I mean, there were some really cool parts that I was like, oh, yeah.
I think they overly tried to make it dark.
they misled
You know what I
us
mean?
so bad.
But I'm saying
Yeah. With
that
they
trailer
like
and
tried
shit.
to make it look. They tried to make it look darker than what it came across as. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just wasn't.
I was like, can we go back to like if Heisenberg's alive? Just talk about that.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah.
like nobody cares what happened to Jesse for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard Jesse's a pretty cool guy.
It's like, yeah, that could have been 15 minutes into
Yep.
Heisenberg still being alive. It was just unnecessary.
Yeah, I watched it and then I don't even it
wasn't
held
terrible.
it
It
held
was just
no
like,
bearing
oh.
to me that I can't even tell you what happened at the end.
It was them in the
I don't
kitchen
remember.
hiding a body in a rug for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that part was fucked up.
I was
Where he
like,
was like
all right.
hiding from the fucking cops, and then they weren't really fucking cops.
Yeah,
and there was some cool parts. I liked how he met back up with the two like stoner buddies, and like they were helping him try and get out of it and stuff.
I felt like I was watching the Fly episode for like 3 hours. That's what it
Yeah,
felt like.
they definitely didn't need to do it.
No, and they could have.
Not
Gone
did
a
it.
different direction.
No, they could have, or they could have just re-released.
And then
Hey,
you're
we're
like-
gonna put Breaking
And
Bad
in
on
the end,
Netflix again.
He like escapes and moves. And you're like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
oh,
That's right. He goes to the
uneventful.
mountains.
Like,
Goes to the
very-
mountains. Yeah, Jesse's finally at peace.
Yeah,
The story of a heroin addict. What are we doing here? It's like, what the fuck was
getting
that?
all your money. That's what we're
yeah,
doing.
yeah. I
didn't-
almost
I
bought the
didn't
box
like
set,
The
but it was like
Irishman.
$300. The Irishman, I was just a little bit of like, what?
Bored.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. It was cool that all three of them were on the camera together, but it wasn't like, what a fucking awesome film. It was
No,
not
like
like
I said,
watching
it got
Goodfellas or any of that shit.
It got ruined when I heard the guys were, I forget what podcast they were on, and they were talking about, it might have been Fighter and the Kid. They were talking at the opening thing, they were doing like openings across all these cities, and like real mafia dudes walked up and just said, how fucking dare you say this movie? Like, that guy didn't do that.
Yeah.
You guys did it. And like, after the fact, you know that none of it's even close to being true. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
I don't need to see 4 hours of it either.
And then they were supposed to look older than they actually were.
That,
And then
like,
the
why couldn't
makeup
they
was
just
a
get
little bit
younger?
weird too.
And they walk with
Yeah.
stilts on. Those little short bastards.
Yeah, they're all like 5'4". All
No,
three
they're
of
all
them.
4 foot tall. And they have big fucking. They have
It
what's
was-
the guy? The
Pesci?
Yeah, but I'm saying, what's the from the big monster fucking guy? from the Munsters, the main guy. He walks with like the fucking stilts on.
Frankenstein?
Yeah,
Or fucking Lurch?
yeah. He works with
From
the big
the Addams
fucking
Family?
stilt shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them, and you see, it's. I love seeing the behind the scenes shit when you see that, and you're like, oh my god, who doesn't fucking laugh at them all day long?
There was
Yeah.
there was really cool
There was-
parts where like Harvey Keitel, like when there were scenes where they're all together and you're like, well, this is cool. This is like every badass gangster from every movie. But I feel like they missed an opportunity to do something really fucking cool.
And even the way he kills me, just like, all right, I'm leaving. He's like, pop, just shoots in the back of the head. It was just so like uneventful. Like,
And then they were like, and that's how so and so died. Because then when what's his face came in, then Hoffa, and then when they were all doing it together, I was just like, this is like 2 movies. Like, what are we doing here? And for some reason, my audio was
that should have
unsynced
been a
on
show,
Netflix.
not a fucking movie.
Yeah, yeah. We
Like,
could have definitely
if
done a
anything.
series. It was cool seeing them all on that, but I feel like it missed its mark.
Yeah, it was definitely like not the hype. Not worth the fucking money to put a movie like that. Like, you don't make Netflix doesn't make money off a movie. Like,
No, Netflix is really broke. Like they're a couple $100 million in the hole because they pay everybody too much money, and they think they're going to do.
You
it,
don't
but
get money for viewers on streaming services.
Well, what they're
You
doing
get-
is they're hoping someone's going to buy Netflix
Probably
because
Fucking
if
Disney
they
will buy it.
don't, they will not. They will not last because people are paying what
Disney.
$10 a week. Yeah, fuck Disney too. I won't
Dude,
pay
the
him a
Disney
fucking
Plus
dime.
is
I won't
bullshit.
pay. I will not pay him a
But
dime.
what I got confused with is there's still Disney movies on Netflix, and is that only because of
they
a
probably-
timeline?
they probably bought it till like a certain
Because it was like
date.
I was over at Jer's, and his daughter played the Adam Sandler movie where he's like
what the clicker?
The bedtime story.
the
thing?
bedtime stories, which I thought was the only decent Adam Sandler movie he's put out in probably 8 years.
I heard Uncut Gems was awesome.
I mean, besides that, but I mean, his comedy and normal bullshit that he's put out,
Yeah.
it's been rough.
I'm just pissed that
Cobbler.
one night.
Sandy Winkler.
Well, he took a huge paycheck.
all
that's
his
why.
Netflix movies were-
And then he just does.
Netflix paid him a shit ton of money.
Oh
to do
my
like
god,
3
yeah!
movies,
And then
so
he just does those location
Yeah.
pieces and like brings Jennifer Aniston and his friends, and they just go on vacation and film some dog shit movie. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude!
I was pissed because one night I sat there and my kids went on because I have Hulu Live.
Yeah.
And we were watching fucking Moana. Right? Oh look,
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn it on. We're watching it. The next day, my daughter goes, "I want to finish watching Moana," and I type
gone.
it, and it's fucking gone. So shit I had before you took away. If they would say from now on,
yeah,
it's gonna be
Well,
on
they
this.
should tell you when it's over.
What's the
That's fine.
on the site, but are on the.
Well, my daughter told me
service.
today. She goes, "It's not fair. We need to get that because I feel that we're missing
Dude,
a lot
all
of stuff."
Disney did was say, "Fuck everyone else. We're taking all of our properties and putting them in ours,
why
and then we're
wouldn't-
going
why
to put
wouldn't they,
nothing
though?
new out ever."
What about what's the Mandalorian? That's their new show. I didn't watch
that's the first
it.
one they put only on there.
Yeah,
It was just.
but I haven't heard
anything.
anything else that's on there besides all their old movies. I mean, I guess when new
What did you
shit
hear
comes
about
out.
it? You heard Baby Yoda. That's all you
Oh
heard.
God! So
They
I
had
won't
a-
watch it because of Baby Yoda. It stinks. Did you have to draw Baby Yoda?
Oh, I did because I'm smart.
Yeah, no, I would too. I
Just
don't
like
know.
why you do terrible movies and shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It was okay, an episode or two, and then you're just like,
Some people said it was awesome. A friend of mine was like, it's
Yeah.
worth getting Disney Plus. He's a huge Star Wars person. Then I heard The Mandalorian sucks, The Mandalorian's slow, and then it was just Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda.
yeah,
Baby
I
Yoda's not
wouldn't
called
get
Baby
it
Yoda. And I'm like, get
just
the
for
fuck
that.
out of here. Get out of here. Like,
I really like Jon Favreau though. Like, he does a lot of good shit.
no, I like Jon Favreau a lot.
So I was like, oh, maybe it'll actually like be a decent Star Wars
Yeah.
production. I actually liked Rogue One and Solo better than the last like part of the saga.
There's too many. I'm out. It's like the
Oh,
Avengers
but
and
he
all
likes
that
Fast
shit.
and Furious.
There's only 9.
There's only 46 of those.
Whoa! There's 9 of them, and it's a storyline.
No.
We got Solo.
No,
We
this
got
is 9.
we got Han over here. Then we got this going on. Then we got Baby Yoda. Then we got Mandalorian. Then we got the first 3, the 3 remade of it.
Wasn't-
Then we got the ones 3 after that. Then the 3s
The thing-
before.
the thing that makes
Then
me
each
mad
one's
is
getting their
Hobbs
own.
and Shaw, like a side.
It
I love
has
it.
nothing to do
Love
with it.
Hobbs
It
and
has
Shaw.
nothing to do with
I
it. It's
bought
just
Hobbs and
it's the
Shaw.
same
Wait, that's
director.
not a joke?
it's the
the
fourth,
same
it's the
director.
4th highest movie in that whole franchise.
It's the same director, and it's
Fourth.
not in that franchise.
highest.
4th
grossing?
highest. Yes. 4th.
Yeah, but isn't
numbers
that
are off.
standalone?
It is.
Nope.
It has nothing to do with it. It was
Characters
made.
in the
It
movie.
is not
No, they
called Fast
were.
and Furious. It is called. It's from the directors of Fast and
Yeah,
Furious.
because this is
No,
Brings
Fast-
you.
it's Fast and
9.
Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
It's not connected to the story
That's
franchise.
kind of like
They took 2 of the characters and made a spin-off, which they said no one can do, and now they're 4th.
The Rock did.
Yes, and that's why he's out of the movie series,
It
and
made
that's
money
why I've
'cause
seen
it's
his
The
own.
Rock.
Yeah,
It probably wasn't
made,
good.
He made he made the official statement a while ago saying every movie I come into, I inject fucking excitement into it and everybody buys it. Think about
That's
it.
not true. Baywatch bombed.
head.
Baywatch bombed like a
that was-
motherfucker.
Dude,
Baywatch
I
didn't
went to
bomb?
see that in
It
theaters.
bombed.
Didn't
Look up the
bomb?
numbers.
I did look at them. Didn't bomb.
Look them up now. That bombed. That did terrible, and he even said, I thought this was going to do better than it did.
I fucking fell
still didn't
asleep
bomb.
when I
It
saw it
bombed.
in theaters. I almost
Get outta
left.
here.
That-
Bombed.
I didn't even laugh like once when I saw that.
no, I
movie.
didn't like it.
Ugh.
I did. You guys are fucking assholes.
Whoa.
Fine.
Bunch of grumpy.
Sit over there.
It bombed.
time
Didn't
is it?
bomb.
Jesus. This is a good 4-hour episode.
No, we could wrap up. What do you plan on doing after? Because, I mean, you have the show you're doing with Impaired Illustrations, and then you have the artwork you got coming up. You're planning to ram back into cons. What do you? So you have your schedule for cons. What do you got going on after that, or aren't you that far ahead?
Nothing. I peaked and this is it. I've done all
You're
I
like,
could.
I finally showed Maury.
Once this DVD hits, like, where do you go from there? You know? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's the wrap. No, I'm still doing cons. I'm just cutting back a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing like a third, probably, because I
Yeah.
want to focus on other shit. I want to bring the show back. I brought I got a new partner on the Lifelines project. I brought that
I was
back.
going to ask you about that too.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, it was $69 million to make the movie. It made $177.8.
It's a terrible turnaround.
For The Rock,
It's a
that
terrible
sucks.
turnaround
For the bomb,
Rock.
it made over
That's not a lot of money.
$110 million for the people who put the money up. Guess what?
Listen
They're
to
gonna
how
make a second
angry you
one.
are.
But I
Because
like-
you don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying it bombed
If I
because you
were
don't
to
like it.
pick a rock movie that actually
Which is what
liked-
you do all
What
the
about-
time.
what
You do
about-
that all the time.
I just told you a fact.
Listen how
Where's-
angry he is.
Because
He's
you
yelling.
don't, you don't have facts. You don't. I just gave you a fact.
That
Give
is
me back
probably the
fact.
lowest grossing movie he's ever done.
But it's not a bomb.
For him, it is. He just said it as well.
They made $110 million
They made profit.
That's
but-
not a lot of money.
That's not a bomb.
It
You said it was a
is
bomb.
for him.
You didn't say for him. You said it's a bomb. I told you it wasn't a bomb.
In your opinion, in my opinion, it's a bomb.
It made 110. You make $110 million, and I'll tell you you're a bomb.
If I make $110 million, I won't be doing it with a dumb movie.
Well,
You
made
won't
100. It's
see
not a
me
bomb. It
again.
made $110 million.
What were you saying?
I don't know.
The Lifelines project?
Yeah.
Yeah, get to that.
Okay. Well, The Rock's not in it, so.
Thank God.
So, no, I recently it was just on the back burner for a while because I didn't have fucking time, dude. If I'm traveling and shit, I definitely can't be online 24/7 like I could at home, and answering everything. So that project is very interactive, and it also relies heavily on crowd participation. It's people submit the stories and then blah blah blah. So you need to be all in for that.
Yeah.
So I finally got a new partner. She also edits those books I do. So she just jumped on board and we took it in a different direction a little bit. So that's very recent, this month actually.
I saw you were posting a lot more with it.
Yeah. Well, me, it was a group and it's a Instagram, whatever. So people have been doing things we had a blog and it just didn't hit the way we thought it was gonna. The way just Facebook's so much fucking easier. Everything wants to be simple as possible. If you make people work to do something, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you gotta simplify every single thing you do. And that's why the Facebook page carried itself even when I wasn't there. So just people interacted and posted stuff. But so they give us the stories and we actually have, the idea was originally a book for that. So we took photos of reenacting stories people sent in, and so we changed the direction a little bit that people now can sort of do it themselves, but you're still anonymous. You know what do you know about it so far?
I just know that you guys set that up and it was kind of a basis for you guys to share stories.
Yes.
For people pushing positive things about it. And then it was
So-
just kind of a place
Yeah.
where people can stop being ashamed of maybe something that happened to them or something that they're going through.
Yeah, so it's there's no specific guideline for topic or theme for the project. So people write about depression or PTSD or suicide or just rape or literally anything. And so they anonymously email us the story, And then we used to take those stories and like recreate a portion of it into like a photo.
Yeah.
And so that was what the book was going to be. And then the book was to raise money for like victims of things like that, or, you know, just stuff. Cause we don't want to just like donate to charity. Cause I know that that money just like doesn't really
get where it's supposed to go.
No, it doesn't really benefit anything.
No.
Other than,
It's like
other
anyone
than the people
donating
that
to
own the
Y
charity.
in Nazareth.
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
It's just like construction on the road. Like it's there, but
Still
it doesn't
no parking.
get fixed.
Still nothing new.
So we wanted to like specifically help people in like certain cases instead of just like, oh, here's money to like this center, here's money to this charity, like whatever. So, but we needed things that like the money came in. So like we have products, like let's make the book. And like all proceeds of that will go to this exact thing. And then the next project will go to something else. So that was the direction we're taking, but we changed the way people submit their ideas and like their story, not their ideas. Like,
were you getting like too much stuff that wasn't really relating to what you were trying to do with the project?
No, it's because I have a different partner in the project. So we kind of couldn't use every single thing again. And it was a lot harder to do, just like because like I want people to photograph for these stories, but these also like they're very intense stories.
Yeah.
So to recreate that is already a lot. And you could see like stuff I posted already. Like we used one of my friends like did a lot of the photos, and you can't like, especially if your things like PTSD or like some tragedy happened to you, where you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to pose for that. I'm going to recreate that. In a photo. So like you can't do your own story.
To talk about, let alone.
It was just like having a photographer, having a model, having this, recreating it, and then like doing it in a way that like, because no one reads the stories but us, essentially.
Yeah.
And we share like portions of them with the photo after we took the photo. But it was harder to like keep doing photos every fucking week. And like we were getting endless stories. And especially when you're reading them from people you know, you're like, oh my God, like I didn't know. Like you might have, like say like you wrote in, but I've known you my whole life, but I didn't know something that crazy happened to you.
Did they have to tell you who they were? Because they could just do it completely anonymous.
Sometimes, like, because they know it's me, and like I think that also helped a lot in the beginning. Like, so people like knew who I was and what I was doing. So like my friends like contributed a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, like when you start your clothing company, it's like, oh, your friends are going to buy it first and then whatever. So like a lot of the stories, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, holy shit. You know, you're kind of taken back, and even reading them all is like very draining. Yeah. Like you're just reading about tragedy after tragedy of all these people.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh my God, like I know these people too.
You can't blame them for it, but I'm just saying it's depressing.
No.
If you read shit like that all day, you just get fucking worn out.
Yeah, so it's like a lot on us, and that's also like very time consuming to do stuff like that. And it helped to bring someone else on board that was doing it with me, and then could respond to all the people on social media and shit, and like answer emails. So we're like, we make it a point, like we're not, like you're not writing into us because it's like a therapist. You're just getting it out. Yeah. Like we don't know who wrote it unless you say. Just some people just, like I said, like if they're friends, they'd be like, oh, you know, I just figured this would help. Because sometimes we ask like, well, we get 20 of this story, like 20 of this type of story a week, and then one of this. So we want more of this to like complete the book and shit.
So is everything like getting a little bit more structured as far as like the ideas kind of coming together more than it was loosely
like
based?
You can't stop how random they are. Like we thought about like, oh, we'll do like a feature of the week. We'll do like a somebody that's motivational, like that pulled through something. But like we'd have to pick that. You can't just like submit yourself and be like, the whole point is to be anonymous. So you kind of really have to play around that a lot. But so people like, you can't just post. The whole point is you email us.
Yeah.
You can't just like, here's my story and post it on Facebook. Like that's not the point. So like your story could be shared, but no one's going to know it was you that it happened to or whatever.
Where does anyone go if they want to share stories or how to get more information or just to check out that project?
So the Instagram and the email is the Lifelines Project, like at or at gmail.com. Then the Facebook group is just the Lifelines Project, and you just type it in and it'll come right up. But yeah, everything has to be submitted to the email. If it's posted, like people post or like advertise in the group, it just gets removed because it's not
there to
like,
draw attention to yourself.
I made $1,000 a week working from home, guys.
It's not even that. Just so like, I had blah 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 happen. You're like, you're supposed to email it, not post it. Like,
well, there's people that when I started the group, started sharing stuff in the group that hold no premise to what it was. Like, it's just a group.
Wait a second.
For people who like what we're doing, and then they can get full access to the show and everything directly. They don't have to have it buried in there, and then people will just start posting like, hey, I need you to vote for this thing on Lehigh Valley, and I'm like, what? Why is this here?
It's hard too because on like Instagram you have a limited space of how to explain it.
Yeah.
So when you get new followers, they're like, what the fuck is this? And they don't know like the full extent. So they're just like see posts and share the pictures. You're like, Jesus, like, what am I looking at? So the Facebook group is better. I would say to join that first because then you could read the whole like about section and like the profile. That gives the full description. And then when you do email us, there's like an automated response that explains like
this is what the project is, this is what the process is,
what you just did, shit like that. So that's like the best way. If you have a question, then just email first anyway. Before, like some people, I remember when I announced the project, I got like dozens of stories, and I was like, who was that ready to like tell their story? Regardless if people were like in therapy already or just whatever. I was like, holy shit. Like I thought, here's the idea. Month later, someone will write in, but like the first hour I had like tons of emails. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's
like,
crazy.
So it's like at the same time, like that many people were like eagerly ready to tell their story. So that just means like it's working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like you're probably giving people an opportunity to get things off their chest. I mean, some people don't have an outlet like that. You don't know who's sitting around thinking about stuff. You don't know how it's affecting people. You don't know if that's going to change somebody's life because they told you a story and they got some shit off their chest. And then
just like get it out.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to go anywhere. It's the whole point. It's just like to encourage people to talk about it and like acknowledge it. Like we don't have, you can say like, don't share it. Like I just wanted to write it. Or just like write it and don't even send it. But like it's encouraging you to like get it out.
Yeah. That's cool that you guys do that.
Way. Yeah. So there's that project, which is very time consuming. And that's kind of why the Impaired show like took a hit a little bit because
it's just moving
getting
stuff
that
around.
together. And I was like, I'm going to be drinking. I'm out for the night. Like that's.
I mean, it's also when you start bringing on projects like that, there's just many moving parts. And it's like, like when we were doing this, it's like, all right, well, I still have to keep the clothing going, but you don't have the time that you put into doing the clothing.
Yeah.
So then that affects. And it's like, all right, well, I want to do that. But then the show takes a hit. And then it's just like until you can start spinning everything all at the same time, which is really fucking hard to do. It's just, where do you even go?
And just shipping orders and just.
Yeah, all the shit nobody thinks about, and then they just, where's my stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What?
You're going to email 30 minutes later after they ordered, where's the tracking?
Yeah. It's like I ordered all my sweatshirts, and then the main color I wanted to push is on back order. And I'm just like, cool. And they're like, yeah, we might be able to get it in 2 weeks. And I'm like, great. Cool. There goes my plan. Glad I shot a commercial with me wearing that.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Fuck
happens.
it. I said, fuck it. Put them up. I'm going to still push everything tomorrow and we'll see what happens.
That's when you're like, those sold out right away.
Yeah, but then it's like I can get those later and then push them, and I have, if I sold out of a lot of stuff already, so it's like I have that, but it's like so many people don't realize the back end of stuff. They just want more.
Yeah. It's a lot. Everything's a lot, but I don't like having an idea and then doing nothing with it for so long. So I try to do too much at once. And you spread yourself too thin, and then you just see what works, and then you just roll with that. So,
well, I'm excited with everything you got going on. I think it's awesome. I want to give you a chance to to plug the book because this is going to be out. But then by the time the video and all that comes out, I can have all your information with the website and all that shit.
Yeah.
And plug all your social media. And then I want to definitely book an Impaired Illustration.
Yeah, dude, you're definitely going to be on it. Let's move this shitty water out of the way. So this is the old book, Whiskey Business. That's kind of like a part 1 for my new book that's called Rebel Without Applause, The Unholy Book of Dilemma. And that comes out in whenever this drops, I guess. It comes out February 20th, so whatever day this airs, it's still the...
Well, the audio will go up first,
20th.
and then I got to get through the video, and then the video will be up by next week, and then we'll just push the shit out of it, and then it drops on your birthday.
So the book's probably out by now.
No way, man. We're ahead of you.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Like,
Audio listeners.
Yeah.
You're in the future.
He's quick with that shit,
we've
man.
already read the whole thing to you, so just buy it anyway.
Yeah, we're actually going to do an audio version.
Yeah, after this.
He's going to read to me, and then I'll read the back half to him.
And we're going to recreate the Maury episode.
Or you guys are just going to alternate every word.
Oh, I keep forgetting
Like
that
mock,
he needs to watch the morning episode. Bird, yeah.
So yeah, my website is scottstrakaart.storenvy.com. You can go on that. You see the book. I just came out with new merch, like
And you have pre-order for the book
hats
as well, right?
and everything on sale. Yeah, the book's pre-order,
Yeah.
the bundles. It's the only way you're going to be able to get the DVD. And I'm doing 2 exclusive prints for that. A bunch of other shit. I don't even know. Like, I decide things like the day before they're out.
It's good to have that mixed up, though. You want people to, if they want more, they can get more. I think the DVD thing is, it's a home run.
It was just like something different, and
It's so ridiculous.
it's like
it's such a ridiculous
I can't
episode.
tell the story, and then you never see it. So like I can't just write about it. And you're like, oh my god, because what you're gonna do is try to find the episode,
and you can't.
So
How crazy is it
You're
that he ended up
welcome.
having that on DVR? And then it wasn't
time.
even like a DVR that was hooked up to his TV, was it? Like it was just like a backup.
I don't know, because I figured it would be like outdated by now. Even
Yeah.
like even your cable box or whatever, they switch them out.
Absolutely.
Or whatever.
Routers, stuff like that.
Yeah,
How long ago was this?
2011. I know what episode it was, but you can't ever get the full thing.
Yeah.
And I was first on the episode, so even like you're like, oh, maybe I'll just play the first 10 minutes. No,
Yeah.
doesn't get there.
Well, I
It's
think
just-
that's the best bundle to get.
yeah. Well, so there's gonna be like 6 or 7 bundles, and
And they're all going to be on pre-order as well.
yeah. So the bundles are pre-order only, and then after that, once those are gone, it's just the book, and then I'll actually have a con, March 13th.
And then are you selling the books on the cons? Or are you getting extra to do
I'll
that?
have some, but like a limited
Yeah.
amount.
Who wants to carry fucking 2 suitcases of books?
Well, it's not only that. Like, yeah, like I don't want to bring all my clothing.
Yeah.
but I do.
It's a fucking pain in the ass.
I like to have like variety, but then at the same time, I don't want someone to come up and be like, "What's your book about?"
Yep.
So I sit there for 30 minutes, tell them the whole book,
And then they're like, "Oh, cool! I'm not going to buy it. Thanks. I actually just missed a flight, and I'm just here, and I don't really care
Where's
about any
the
of this stuff." Yeah.
I was just waiting in line to take a poop.
Well, I was excited to have you back on. We haven't had you on in a while. I definitely think the Impaired Illustration. I mean, we could do that on a Thursday, or do you think we'd have to do that on a weekend? What would work for you? We'll figure it out.
Unless I start traveling again, then it's probably weekday. But
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
It'd be fun. You can bring somebody on when you want to. We can
have
figure
any
all that out.
I hate everyone.
Yeah, but
Hell yeah.
we'll push the shit out of it. I think it's exciting that you got another book coming on, and then, like I said, we'll book the Impaired Illustration, and then I'll share all of your social media and all that. But I think it's cool. You're still pushing stuff, man.
Yeah.
You're still going.
The hustle never quits.
Yeah, man. I like how you mix it up. You have to, or else it's just the same old shit over and over.
It's gotta-
Doing that con life for
It's got to
forever.
be fun to me.
I thought it was
too.
crazy when you were doing it as much as you were before. I was like, Jesus Christ, there's no way he's not burned out on this.
I was burned out, but in a good way. Like, I wasn't bored. I was
Yeah.
just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just hit a wall. So, yeah, I never got, like, tired of it. It's just physically I was tired.
Yeah. It's draining.
Yeah. So,
I mean, other than the zoo, you were just sitting in a chair.
other than playing with fucking sloths all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just like I had so many ideas and it was taking away from everything else. So, like, that bothered me the most. I'm like, I need couple months off, and like in the beginning of 2019, I took 3 months off, and I was like, that's not enough. I still didn't accomplish everything I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that was like a bad time to take off because I'm so fucking busy. You get like Black Friday and then Christmas, and then January is still busy. So it was the wrong time to take 3 months off. But so I decided to do it again, and it worked out.
Good for you, man. The book's coming out February, 20th is your birthday?
Yeah.
How old are you going to be, 23?
18. Old enough to drink.
Yeah, man. Like I said, thank you again for coming on. All of his links and everything you would want to get the book and pre-order and all that stuff is down below. And tune in, subscribe to Everything Scott and Everything Never Again Studio. Good. Drive safe, be safe, God bless. I fuck the ending up every day.
That's okay.
Thank you.
If they make it this far.
No, I mean, there was shit on there. Like after we were done.